Hello and welcome to the Carbitrage podcast, episode 100. I am Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinitsky. Hello.
Hello there, that's me.
And on today's special self-congratulatory episode, we
Yes.
have two amazing guests, both of which you guys have heard from before. We have Dan Balto from MNCEC. Hi.
Hey, thanks for having me on again.
And we have Kua, Mirage Guy from Drive Cartel.
Hey, what's up?
Great to have both of you guys back. Thank you for coming on, especially together and working with our
1 second, I
Car
gotta put
show
up my beer.
schedule.
I got a hazy pale ale. Per Scott's recommendation, I should open it. You got my... I wanted the cream ale.
Too bad.
Oh, it's so much better.
Thank
I don't
you
even
to
care
our
what this is.
number one best Patreon patron, Scott, for the beer. And speaking of such, if you haven't supported our show yet on Patreon, please go and do that. We have a beer level and we have a better than beer level. It's patreon.com/carbitrage. What's your beer again?
Hazy pale ale. It's called Parlay by...
From Fair State?
from
Whoever's
Fair
phone
State.
that was,
That
please
is mine.
mute it.
I'm sorry.
I am drinking an Urban Growler Cream Ale, which is titled Cowbell. And I'm very excited about that.
I love cream ale. It's my favorite beer.
Me too. It's pretty epic. So.
Why is there any other beer?
Well, I like other beers. Like on a hot day, cream ale really isn't my number one. On a really cold day, I prefer like stouts on a cold day. I prefer a wheat beer on a hot day. IPAs should just get thrown in the trash.
Yeah, no, you should just have stouts, cream ales, and wheat beers, and that's it. Done. Slash thread. Everything else can go in the trash.
What do you drink again, Balto?
Yeah, the occasional hard cider.
Okay.
Or,
Okay, those work.
What is your preference of brand of hard cider? I'm putting you on the spot, so just deal with it.
Yeah, let's say Strongbow.
Sounds good. Cool, what do you drink?
And usually my go-to would probably be like Flat Earth, but they changed the
Weird, why is that?
I don't know.
Do you spend a lot of time with... Okay.
Is that just a plug for Flat Earth?
Yeah. No, but usually my go-to would just probably be like any of the local, but usually just Heineken.
That's fair.
So it's,
Yeah. No,
that's
mine's
like my go-to.
It always looks so appetizing with its bright green, translucent bottle. Tasty.
value for money. It's a great beer.
Ooh,
yeah.
this cowbell is excellent.
I know it is. That's a very close number 2 to Castle Danger.
This actually, it's smoother, I think, than the Castle Danger cream ale, but it doesn't quite have the same
Flavor.
cream. I don't
Yeah.
want to, I don't know what you call that, but yeah.
No, I like the Castle Danger's dick cheese that it's got. It's really, really creamy. It's good.
Yep. I don't know if I would use that descriptor, but yeah, no, absolutely. I'm glad you enjoy its dick cheese. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to use that as a segue somehow. Dan,
Yes, sir.
as is kind of customary with us, give us a CEC rundown for either stuff you want to recap from late 2019 since we last chatted, or sorry, 2018 since we last chatted, or what's coming up for 19.
Yeah, I think we'll actually just start with 2019 here.
Sounds good. Looking forward, not backward. I like it.
No, absolutely. Always got to make some progress, right?
Exactly.
I try, but you do better than I do on that one.
Yeah, it's all good here. So, rundown for MNCC 2019. We got our huge Minneapolis Mile event on Sunday, June 30th, and actually, I'll segue here quickly. I believe the day before it, Kua, you guys have an awesome event going on as well.
Yep, we also have Modest going on.
Nice.
Right after that too, that Sunday. So
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty
Modest
fun.
will be fun. That's
That
where you go
weekend's going to
weekends.
be insane.
it's gonna be back to back. Yep, it's gonna be fun.
So-
though. I mean, it's good though.
So
you know,
what date is it exactly?
It is
Saturday, June 29th.
Yep.
And then your event is
Sunday, June 30th.
okay. There you go.
That does follow. Yeah. All right. That
It's
is
almost
one day
perfect.
apart.
And then we're going to follow up our Light Up the Night show from last year, which, a lot of people think that the Minneapolis Mile is kind of what that was last year. But it's more so that we wanted to use that as a stepping stone to get to the Minneapolis Mile instead.
So what are the main changes? Because the venue is largely the same.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're moving 2 blocks east to the same north-south parallel sort of setup, but instead we're taking over 12 blocks this year instead of 10 blocks like last year.
Okay.
And then Second Avenue is actually a 4-lane wide road instead of a 2-lane wide road, which now allows us to have double the cars and
great.
effectively double the fun as well.
Nice.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so you'll be able to park on both sides then? Or?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And no limitations as well. I know some of the domestic, import, and truck guys had to park in the north lot last year, which wasn't, the best situation, but we had to make it work. So luckily this year we're giving them center stage right in the middle of downtown.
That'll be really good to kind of make some amends.
Absolutely. So it's it'll definitely be a crazy event. 600 cars, best of every brand, and hopefully, a few surprises and a few cars that people have never seen or maybe haven't seen in over a decade here in the state. So
I'm excited.
I'm pretty excited. I kind of have some inside down low on that, but I won't spill your beans.
oh no, definitely appreciate it. I think if you don't make it out to the show, you'll definitely be disappointed.
I will make it out to
I'm
the
gonna
show.
make it out,
I
'cause-
just haven't registered yet because I'm done.
No, for sure. But
This year it's not happening during Monterey Car Week, so I can totally go, and I'm really excited for that.
that's fair. It's also we'll have at least 12 to probably 15 different photographers on staff as well. So, if you want to try to live vicariously through the internet and enjoy the event, should be a viable option.
I
as
do
well.
both. I go there, park my car, go to Brits, get Scotch eggs, and then live via the Facebook feed.
There you go.
Like, what's on the other end?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay,
I'll walk
yeah.
down there later. That's going to be nice.
No, you know what we should do is we should get those like self-driving buses they had on Nicollet and just like have
That'd be
those run
nifty.
up and down.
Or just, like, use advanced summon or whatever they call that thing. It'll
Oh,
just,
on Teslas.
yeah, just borrow a couple from Eden Prairie. Be like, hey, do you have any FSDs?
No, I'm really excited that it's not going to be during Monterey Car Week, because that's the only reason I didn't go. And I kind of felt a little bit bummed out that I didn't go.
It's okay. What's the date on that this year?
It's into August as usual. So.
Crap. It wouldn't happen to be like August, let's see what we got. 30th, I guess.
I think it's the weekend before that, actually.
Okay. Oh, the one of the Mitsu Cookout.
Oh, yeah.
It's August 9th through the 15th.
There you go.
Perfect. Super
Oh,
easy
so
then.
it's mid-August then. Okay.
It was a very cursory Google, as we do on this podcast a lot.
All the time.
But Google actually pulled, when you Google like sports results, this versus this, it'll give you like the breakdown of what's going on. It actually had like a breakdown on its own.
And that's
thing,
for
so.
2019?
Yeah, I typed in 2019, so I'm reasonably confident that information is correct. But if not, take it up with Google.
Nice.
Yeah,
So the reason why I bring that up is our Light Up the Night show this year. We're changing the venue, of course, because we don't want to do 2 downtown Minneapolis events in a year.
Where's Light Up the Night?
It's gonna, and this is just for you guys and the listeners today. It's at the new MNUFC field in Midway.
Ah,
Nice.
yeah. Excellent. Scott can walk there. Yay.
You can walk to the car show. Congrats.
Absolutely. And we realized it's also during the state fair, so more than likely,
Oh my God.
what we'll do is we'll give everyone the option to
Gangbusters.
get their parking like right over in the field or in the parking lots in the morning. We'll have like a transit bus or something running people up to the state fair.
Are you be charging entry?
For the car show, yes. For spectators, no.
Oh wow, that's gonna be great for people.
Yeah.
You're gonna everybody. It's gonna be mobbed.
Well,
It is absolutely gonna be mobbed. It's
and
gonna
that's
be
the
like
thing. Gotta keep it under control somewhat, right?
it's gonna be like Cars and Coffee like 5 years ago here.
Yeah, I'll just do a bunch of burnouts. That'll be fine.
Like you have to get here like 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
To like get in
I liked that about the Cars and Coffee show here, though. Like
Yeah.
having to get up and get here like
at a lousy early
quarter to
time.
7, yeah, and sit in line for 45 minutes in my car. But obviously, Chanhassen didn't like that.
No.
Like, you were blocking 5. Like, we were courteous.
Yeah.
We let people go by. It was fine.
You were blocking our only artery to the world.
Don't worry, I did it in my idling V12 BMW, so I was being environmentally friendly.
Yeah, all these trees are super green now. It's amazing.
Look at all that CO2 we provided for the greenery around here. It's excellent.
There's nary a dead plant in town.
So light up the nights at the UFC stadium. That's cool. Are they gonna like cooperate with you guys and like light it up a certain color for you, or
Damn straight. That's
Nice.
literally
That's gonna be great.
half the reason we chose that venue for
the
sure.
light? Yeah, the light's pretty cool in there.
Well, not only that, you've been working with MNUFC since I was involved with
Yeah,
MNCC.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
it was part of the drive last year, right? That
Yeah,
group drive.
Paul Walker Cruise.
Yep.
Yeah,
I didn't end up going to the end because I had other stuff to do, but yeah, I know that was the end location.
excellent.
Yeah, buddy.
And then our third event, which is currently unannounced and currently under plans and semi under wraps. I believe this is the year MNCC does a fall rally.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
fun.
nice.
That'd be
Cool.
really cool.
And this is something that we want to begin to unify the other car communities of Minnesota as well. Because right now we've drawn a lot from the metro area, but we haven't really connected with,
Outside,
Rochester,
yeah.
Mankato, Duluth, Brainerd, Iron Range, stuff like that. And I think it's about time we change that.
Yeah,
that'd
it seemed
be
like
great.
there was a huge presence at that summit you held last year at Tint Pros about people that weren't in the cities.
Yeah, no, the board meeting was great, and this year I think it's also time to open that up a bit more to the public as well, or the community at large, I should say.
Fair enough. I'm just gonna get there early and eat all the pizza
Yeah, there you go.
and the sushi. Boy, that was good.
And
Yeah.
I'll be making sure I cover all of your shows on the Carbitrage website. Now that's actually a thing, finally.
Now that we have a name that we can stick with.
Yeah, exactly. I actually can take that effort into putting together the website. So, yeah, it's really cool.
Nice.
That's really awesome. So cool. What all is Drive Cartel? Because you get Miles 100, you get all of the cars and crafts.
So we have Cars and Crafts starting
Yeah.
in June. Well, pretty much the first Saturday of every month, starting in June through August, I believe, or September.
I was gonna
Or
say, it
actually
probably depends on the
October.
weather.
Yeah,
Didn't
depending
you
on
guys,
the weather.
You
yeah.
extended last year, right?
Yeah.
By one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
and
great.
And it even happened on. Well, I think last year we had a rain date, but the rain, luckily went away. But yeah,
do
it's-
love that event.
Yeah. It's not even called Flat Earth now. They changed their name into St. Paul Brewery.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they changed it.
Can
Yep.
we still call it Flat Earth?
I think
be
everyone's gone.
To be fair, I get why they changed their name because
Yeah.
you know there were just a bunch of flat earthers that were
Yeah.
I like their name.
Yeah, the name it's really unique. I liked it too. So I was like,
I know exactly where I'm going now. Like,
Yeah.
But you know,
Okay.
like exactly like the sort of people at St. Gates. You're always like weirdo, like conspiracy
Yeah,
theorists.
they
Like,
were getting bad clientele
Society.
from their name.
yeah, exactly.
Like, you guys also believe? Like, ooh, easy there, psycho.
And you have like really, really pissed off scientists. Like it's just a bunch of drunk scientists from
Doc
like, the,
Brown.
Yeah, like all the physics teachers from the U of M get like really
Oh,
drunk and
man.
like go down there and like break all their things. Just, yeah, it'd be terrible. I get why they changed their name.
but yeah, we're doing Cars and Crafts this year, and then Modest is June 29th.
So is Modest still with Modest Brewing? Are you guys
No,
related?
no.
You're not? Okay.
No,
'Cause I know it's like
it'd
the
be
same
pretty
name.
cool if we
Yeah,
were,
like-
but no, I mean,
Maybe not yet.
yeah, not yet, exactly.
Because
Put it-
the
plug it in
dude
there.
that does Modest is actually a car guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the guy that does
Think we should
Modest
probably
Brewing.
reach out
He came into my work like once. And I think he had a Volkswagen of some sort, but he's also like really into motorcycles too.
So he's into a lot of really broken, painful money holes.
Yeah. Probably Moto Guzzi's and Volkswagens.
Like, I drink so much trying to bury my shame that maybe I should just start a brewery.
yeah. when
That's
you're
Modest was born.
when you're an alcoholic but also Jewish.
Have you tried our new bacon brew?
Oh God.
Neither have I.
It's it's like a 7-year-old keg just sitting in the corner. Like, I can't.
So you got Modest 100, and that's you get like 100 of the best cars in Minnesota.
Yeah, we're trying to get all of everyone, is definitely invited, like every car.
Yeah.
So, and this time it's gonna be at the farmers market. I don't know if you guys have been to the
Oh,
farmers
yeah,
market down in downtown.
That's
St. Paul.
Just
yeah.
by
That's-
North Loop, right?
Yeah, that's where
right,
those
right
those
there. That's-
terrible under 94
Yeah.
meets happen. Yeah.
Oh no, not that in St. Paul.
Oh,
Not in
St.
Minneapolis.
Paul.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
okay.
It's gonna be in that parking lot. Yep. So
Oh,
it's gonna
that's
be in
really
that lot,
dope.
yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So even if it rains, I
You
think
still have
the
stuff to
cars
do.
will be
Oh
out.
yeah. I know where that is now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I should. I mean, it's easy walking distance from my house, but of course I will drive.
Yeah.
Not only because it's America, but B, it's a car show.
Have either one of you guys been to the revitalized Schmidt Brewery in St. Paul? Where they got that market and everything?
Yeah. Keg and
'Cause-
case right
yeah,
over
keg
there.
and case, yeah. Because the road there would be really cool
Yeah, yeah.
if you guys could
That would
organize
be
something.
tight,
That'd
yeah.
be super.
Keg and
dope.
Case is hopping, but I feel like it's less so in the warm months because that's such a great interior winter destination
Yeah.
to hit.
Yeah.
But you might be more feasible to grab it for a
Well,
summer
I was
meet.
thinking just that road because that
7th?
doesn't- No, not 7th. The
It's-
road
Or
that
the
goes
one
in
actually
between.
in
Yeah.
the Keg and
Yeah,
Case.
the one that goes.
The only
through
thing is it's
brewery
not
house.
very wide, so you would have
Yeah.
to shut it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, well, that's
Well, I
the thing
thought-
is you could do a smaller one and
Right.
enough foot traffic. Yeah.
I was thinking about that too, but I thought there was apartments around there.
They
That's
are,
why I
but
was thinking.
the apartments have their own parking.
it's fine.
Yeah,
they, don't,
that's
they can walk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
the
don't-
apartments
pay
have
to
their
live
own.
there, it's
Have their
fine.
own. The apartments have their own parking. There's enough traffic flow around there. You could totally shut that. I bet they'd be really into that because they get a ton more foot traffic going
Yeah.
into Keg and Case.
Yeah, that's
especially
true.
if it's in the summer. When it's balls hot
Oh
outside.
And they've got that Clutch Brewery up there. It's called Clutch Brewing.
Yeah.
There you go.
One
It's
of their,
all
their-
car
I think their
Yeah.
logo is the H pattern, but it has the order of events and how you brew a beer instead of the
yeah.
numbers. And then
tight.
they've got a revival in there, and then there's also a new restaurant coming soon.
In Bloom, and then you got
In Bloom.
Jamaican one coming.
The Jamaican one's the one I'm thinking of. I forget the name of it though. But either way,
Pimento.
Pimento.
Pimento, yeah.
Yep. So
I'm excited for that.
Keg and Case is great. I really
Yeah.
like it.
That place is tight.
If one of you guys could get that as a venue, I would definitely go. So.
They have a
Yeah.
big parking lot too.
Yeah, the parking lot's pretty big. A
And you
decent
could-
amount of pretty decent street parking around it too. So
That's actually a rather long drunk stagger away from your house too, so you could actually probably do
that I could do it on my little electric scooter thing,
That's
Yeah,
Sure,
just
yeah.
take your electric scooter everywhere. There you go.
or I could take my four-wheeled electric scooter.
Yeah.
Your Tesla, yes.
Autopilot, take the wheel. Oh, guys, I dragged my E10 down here last night just to get it away from Stillwater and put it in my way here, so I have to work on it.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I took it down here with the Tesla.
Yeah.
I used autopilot almost the whole way towing a trailer. Boy, it seemed really illegal. Like, I'm pretty sure.
So cool though. I saw that video of that.
It seemed really illegal.
I saw it on Reddit. I saw that video of that Tesla going around. Like, how far did it go? It was going.
I don't
around
know.
for, like,
That's the full self-driving with the Navigator and autopilot. I've got the old poverty one, so
Oh.
it just does like lane keep and radar cruise and that kind of stuff. But it was weird.
Yeah.
Just like there's a
Whoa.
car behind me on a trailer and I'm doing 5 over or whatever on a major interstate. But anyway, yeah, I'm not sure where I was going with that.
yeah.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
So with with Modest 100, you're gonna have all the. Is it so? Last year you had the 100 cool like best cars, and it's kind of like how like getting into Week Fest where you had to get approved to go in. So now you're gonna have everybody's like able to get in.
No, we're still gonna do some
You're still
screenings.
do
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
tight.
So
Yeah, because
that's definitely like.
screenings like what makes the show good.
Yeah. I mean, we're not gonna let every car,
Let's say
in. Yeah, it has to be specific to.
I feel like shows are better that way.
Yeah, like,
you gotta
I-
curate a little
I
bit,
don't
even
wa-
if you hurt
It's gonna-
feelings.
yeah.
Like trust me, as much as I love EK Civics,
Yeah,
like I'm not
yeah,
trying to see a
exactly.
clapped out EK Civic
Yeah.
with like a LS
Yeah.
and it's in like 19-inch like double XRs on stock ride height
Yeah,
with
yeah.
like a DC Sports like AutoZone fart
Yeah,
cam.
yeah.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
What about a super smoothed over shaved doors one with a system in it from 2003?
I'm okay with that.
Oh man.
As long as it has that Bomex body kit.
Oh,
As
yeah.
long as I got the
There you go.
Bomex.
Well, you're talking
Yeah.
to the dude
Oh,
that
no,
got,
I'm
know.
actually into
he got
that.
started with the Bomex body kits.
So like, you throw a Bomex body kit on anything, I'm instantly into it. I'm like, all right, let's talk here. It's clearly somebody I have something in common with.
Oh man, that was an unfortunate.
Bring
tie.
back the big body kit.
No. Let's leave it dead where it should stay. Oh jeez.
But yeah, so you got that, and so you're gonna you still have to screen cars, but yeah.
What's
it's
the
gonna be-
process
we're
for
defi-
screening too? I mean, I,
think-
know it's pretty subjective,
Yeah,
but
it's,
like,
it's. I think we just have a couple of us just looking at it,
Sure.
just to say, like you said, we don't want any like
Yeah.
any clean cars. If it's like, if you just have like, you bought a car from like Toyota. Or like the new Corolla put on wheels, that's it's not gonna pass.
No,
Right?
no, no.
You need to do something more to it than
sick
just like
build, bro.
Yeah,
It has to be unique.
it has to be
Has to be
unique.
unique,
Has
has to be
to have
clean.
yeah.
What
has
if you
to be
bought a
clean.
Mirage and you put wheels on it?
Well, definitely that's.
If you
Yeah,
have,
it gets in, right?
Yeah, it
I
gets
think
in
if,
automatic.
if you have any sort
Got
of
to play to
modified,
your judges a little bit.
if you have any sort of modified Mirage, I'm pretty sure you're
Yeah.
gonna probably
Yeah.
get on the
Yeah.
podium for Modest 100.
I don't
Yeah,
I
there
don't
you
see
go.
any
There you go.
nepotism.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Speaking of that, I've always been saying that when car reviews review cars, they should always do base models. Dan's friend, what was his name again? That guy was up here for the longest time. He had that Charger.
Haris.
Harvey. Thank you.
Haris.
Harris.
Yeah.
Harris. His name's Harris. He actually said, without me prompting him, he said, "Yeah, why don't they just like compare base models when they do test drives and stuff? Because like the whiz bang models are like,
You mean like automotive testing?
yeah, when they do reviewing, like yeah, just like instead of doing the
makes
whiz
sense.
bang model, do the
Yeah.
base model, because then cars like the Mirage would be really awesome." So anyway, that's
Honestly, that's a fair point. Plus, then you get to see the base wheels and things like
Yeah.
that, like stuff you
Yeah.
never get to see.
like I want to see the worst version. Like, what's the one I would actually be able to buy? Like,
What's the special financing version?
yeah, exactly. Like, what can I get the $99 a month lease on?
In theory, that's the most like apples to apples comparison
Yeah,
you can get.
you
too,
totally
right?
should. And it's like, and then you have like, you don't. It's like having a cake donut with just glazing on it. You don't have any of the whiz bang stuff to like show you like, oh yeah, this cool thing. It's a donut with a bacon inside of it. Like, no, this is how good the donut actually is. If you like this, then it's a good donut. Anyway, that's
I'm pretty
my
sure
rant.
you worked whiz bang into that run on 3 times.
Yeah, I probably did. I'm sorry. Anyway,
Anyways, yeah, but with like modest, I mean, we're definitely looking for unique cars. I mean, we're definitely not gonna let in. Well, we're definitely just gonna look at cars, but if it's like very basic, like if it's just like the usual coilovers, plastic dip, wheels, rotas,
Gross.
full lip kit. You're not. You're gonna need something more than just that.
Sure.
I mean, especially if you did something with like if like you don't, for example, you did a whole swap on say a DA with a K20 or something like
That'd be
that,
tight,
or like
yeah.
What if it's like a
LS or
super
something like
clapped
that.
out first gen Insight, but it's got a K series in it?
There you go.
There you go. That's
I mean,
worthy.
it's something that we want to bring to
Something unique, like, yeah.
something
But like, what
unique
if it
that
looks
no
like
one's
crap,
ever
but it's
seen.
super cool?
It's like a rat rod, basically.
Yeah.
Kinda.
like a rat rod, yeah.
Like I took
Or
like
like
a $600
Blubsky.
junkyard Insight and I put an all-wheel drive turbo K24 in it. Like,
Or like Blubsky.
well, that's not JDM.
It doesn't matter.
That's DTM.
No, it's not. It's actually just German because it was never.
DTM.
That was never raced in Dutch Tour Wagenmeisterschaft.
Deutsche
Deutsche
Tourenwagenmeisterschaft.
Yeah, it was never raced in that.
I know, but like it's the way of saying German JDM.
No, that's a racing series. That's like saying it's an F1 car because it's
Fine
Italian.
DDM.
All right.
GDM?
Well, was that made in Germany?
Yeah, oh, I'm sure it was. That was in the
What-
70s.
Was that imported from the German domestic market?
It was probably imported from West Germany at some point in time.
Wait, it was intended for sale for West Germany, and not for
Sure.
America.
I don't know. Well, I mean, this is DOT crash bumpers and
Oh,
crap
so
on it
then
were
that's
removed, so-
USDM. It's
Well,
just a euro.
it was USDM spec. Now it's super euro. Fine. So that's interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we just want to bring out
You
the
wanna-
best of the best around, like
Yeah.
the Midwest. We're trying to get people from like Wisconsin, Chicago, Iowa. We have a car I think coming from like, I'm not sure if we have a crew coming in from Canada.
Okay.
Or,
You got an
maybe
award
farther.
for the furthest traveled?
We're not
Actually,
sure
yeah.
yet.
I think
don't
you
know yet.
should.
Yeah.
That'd be tight.
That's always
Maybe.
been a
We'll
thing on
see.
Polar Run.
Yeah.
They're like, what team came from the furthest away?
Yeah, I know that Mitsu Cookout. Kurt
Yeah.
did that.
That should be
that's
really
pretty
cool. Yeah, and I'll PM me after we're done with this, and I'll talk to some guys from Van Culture,
Yeah,
like lowered Siennas
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, van or American classics or lowriders. We're trying to get them pretty much anything.
How about
boogie
boogie vans, like 70s, like Dodge Tradesmans with like wizards painted on the side?
That's what the
That would
van
be-
show
no,
is for.
no, yeah. Well, as I say, because I'm also
Chariot
in
of
that
the
community,
Gods.
so I can like
Yeah.
get some like weirdo things coming in here. I get some really weird stuff coming to your show if you
Yeah,
want.
that would be. You know what? But weird is cool though.
Yeah,
That's how
no,
you
that's-
attract it for real.
that-
That's like.
Yeah,
That's,
That's
one of
how
the cool things
Brexit
about
made it
cars,
in.
yeah.
it's
That
like
thing's on stock suspension, man. It still made it in.
like JCCS for like 5 years running. It was a 81 Tercel with like 9,000 miles on one, like best of show. It was like literally for 5 years in a row. This guy just like bought it from a grandma like in the Pacific Northwest, and he just took it to a Japanese classic car show. Like all these dudes were getting like pissed because they had like Hakosuka Skylines and like they spent like 6 figures on their build, and this dude with like a $5,000 Tercel just like cleaned up. He eventually sold the car for like twice as much as he bought it for.
God, I love that so much.
Dan, do you
That's
regulate
awesome,
like entry? So if somebody registers something that's just like super crappy, do you have the
No,
ability to
we-
reject it or
actually,
no?
if you go on our website, we have a vetting process, probably very similar to theirs.
Or it's just like it has to be of some
Is it
quality.
extreme vetting or regular vetting?
Extreme.
It depends what your opinion, I guess, is.
No.
Like, we definitely don't. The only stock cars we allow in are rare cars,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
It's like a 1M.
Yeah,
would be
whereas
in, yeah.
like, when it comes to
Yeah, I
common
see one of
cars,
those.
like let's say a Honda Civic or a Mitsubishi Lancer, they really have to be, significantly modded to be.
All right, so you're telling me that my 2004 Honda Civic EX sedan automatic is not going to come in the show?
Well, it depends what's done to it.
Absolutely nothing at all.
Then, sorry.
My parents bought
My
it for me.
Mirage gets 50
I'm so
miles per
mad.
gallon, so
And
threesome.
Something's been done to it. It's
Yeah.
efficiency.
There you go.
And when you guys said earlier, yeah, you've hurt a few feelings and whatnot, like, I agree with that, and it's something that we've had to break away from, because we're supposed to be kind of, like, all-inclusive of the community and whatnot, but
Well, I mean,
There's
charging
all-
for a show gets
yeah.
rid of a lot
it does.
of that,
yeah,
absolutely.
but not everything. So I mean, it's honestly a question I'm really curious about because I mean, I I know how I would let people in and not into a car show, but I mean
Yeah,
that's
what-
obvious to
what-
all of you guys.
That's called extreme vetting.
What,
That's
what
not a good
transmission
thing.
is your car
Extreme
equipped
vetting.
with?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got the SST. Go home.
Well, we have this. We have the spectator parking, and behind that we have the shuttle parking, and then behind that is your house. You can park that there and walk.
I guess you can spectate if you don't bring it up too much.
Well, you threw that guy out earlier today for bringing in a.
Yeah, there was a guy walking through, and he was talking at me when I was working on the M5, and he was telling me about his M3, which I don't care about, while he was looking at mine. It turned out to be an E90, so what, 08 to 2013 or something like that. He was like, oh, I don't know if I need to do rod bearings. I'm at like 82K, seems fine. I'm like, it's fine until a rod goes through your block. That's a wear item on that thing at 90K. So, yeah, you got to do rod bearings.
That's awful.
Anyway, came up that his car was a DCT, and he used to have a manually 46 M3, and I'm like, get out, leave my garage. And he kept talking at me. I'm like, I wasn't kidding. And I pointed at the open door on the other side, and then I walked away from him and started working on my car again. I'm like, I have no time for automatic owners.
You guys need a button on hand that just is like, it says Savage on it, and you press it, and all it is like Macho Man Randy Savage. Like,
I guess we could like add it to the pre-war bell.
yeah,
Get
exactly.
an electronic pre-war bell.
Exactly. What you need.
Slim Jim.
But it would have to be like something about automatics not being acceptable. Yeah, but you have to. Like,
always rises to the top.
Yeah,
that has
you know-
nothing to do with manual transmissions.
Okay, Eric, how do you feel about power glide transmissions?
No,
Now the power glide is the only automatic that matters. I'm
that's
more
true. But
there's
there's a planetary transmission with completely manual band actuation used in drag racing.
Yeah,
and that's about as close. I forget the name of the damn thing.
called the power glide.
No,
It's
no,
a-
because
it's a
that's always just
variant.
fluid. It's not, because this
Oh,
is a
is it?
dry clutch planetary transmission. But what these things are, it's set up, it's a planetary gear set, so everything's always engaged all the time, and it uses a series of bands like an auto does, but it doesn't need fluid because it doesn't need hydraulic pressure. So it's literally, it looks like one of those ratchet shifters, but all you're doing is disengaging a band and grabbing another one. And I will, as we keep talking, I will try to think of it, and I'll bring it up again. We have talked about it on Carbitrage before, because we talk about the power glides once in a while. If you're going to do an auto, a power glide is the way to do it, with a locking torque converter. That's important, because the originals never did. And if you're cruising down the highway without a locking converter, oh Nelly.
Well,
It's not a good thing.
I've been saying for years, like, yeah, that's the only transmission you need, because if you're having something automatic, it's going to obviously be for drag racing, which you should
Exactly.
probably be wanting a rear-wheel drive car.
It's called a
for.
Lenco, L-E-N-C-O
Oh, okay,
transmission. I think we talked about that on Interesting Engineering, actually. But
I think, a while back.
they
yeah.
take just absurd power, and the shift is as fast as your arm can shift it. So in my mind, it is... I mean, it's a manually actuated transmission. It's not a manual because it doesn't have a clutch. I don't think.
I think that,
As long
yeah.
as it's shifting, though.
So I'll add
Right.
that. So you
Right.
have that, you have the power glide, the TH400, the only three automatics that are okay. The TH400, just because it's a little bit more viable for lower power cars.
TH350. It's actually a better trans to build
is
than
it?
the
Okay,
400.
all right.
You're right, the 400 is the better off-the-shelf trans.
Yeah.
But you see a built one, the 350s are more receptive to mods.
Well, that's the thing, is the TH400 would just be
They're almost the same.
Yeah, they're almost the same, but it would be a budget thing. It'd be for a lower power car.
Anyway, we are way off topic. So, the extreme vetting process. What do you, when you're gathering information from somebody that's submitting for one of these shows, what do you, I mean, I should know this because I've been to your shows before, but like, what information do you gather and actually use for this vetting process?
Let me just
Or if I were
tap
Canadian.
away on the computer here.
Process.
Other than the basics, so year, make, model, submodel, and then we ask for either a modification list or a restoration list, and then we ask them to upload pictures of their vehicle as well. So you can sort of gauge the quality based on photos.
It sounds like yours is more objective than subjective.
We try to be, but obviously there's some amount of subjectivity.
I
to
I
everyone.
think that's kind of the difference between MNCC
That's
and
like-
Drive
yeah.
Cartel, is that like MNCC, you're so large that you kind of have to be objective.
Yeah.
Can you add a field? So, like, where it says make, if they type in Chevrolet, can you have it auto add a field that says how many neutrals does your 4L60 have?
We're not that far yet.
Oh, okay, all right.
Maybe in the near future.
That would be kind of cool.
That would be a nice little drop down menu.
I bet they'd get a kick out of it.
I mean,
or like if it's a Ford, like how many pedestrians have you murdered with your Mustang?
Yeah, there we go. On that note, though, like, for our show,
Volkswagen,
with 12
which
different
timing chain
blocks,
are you
like,
on?
trying to, Ford is going to have, like, 50 spaces, whereas, like,
Right.
the Mitsubishi Subaru row is sort of split, so it'll be, like, 25 each. So
Oh, right.
the way and the pickiness that we have to be relative to each brand also...
And I suppose it's tough because, I mean, you send out multiple rounds of invites, so, like, you
Yeah.
never know what you're going to get later. So if you preliminarily accept somebody with a little bit more basic car, you may be, getting the person like me, which has got, really nice cars, but I go last minute. Like, if I
Exactly,
didn't know you,
so,
I wouldn't
yeah.
go to the show because
Yeah.
I don't do anything that far in advance.
Yep, and that's why we're actually, like, staging how many spots are available at a specific time as well.
Okay.
With the exception of the exotic row, which...
I'm sure you guys have done research on it, so I'm not questioning it, but
Well,
it's
not
just...
research, we just have the data to support it.
Well, I call that research.
Yeah.
That is
Data
research.
aggregation.
Yeah, that is actual. Yeah, I think you might be the only. Actually, I might be able to say this with some confidence. The only car group that has enough nerds to actually be able to do data sets and actually do surveying and actually
Yeah.
get all that done.
You can
'Cause-
tell by the website of the car group.
Yeah, no, I mean that in a good way because like they're like I feel like Weekfest and people like that, like the really huge import shows, they could totally have a really really good statistic database that actually they could sell the data for like money, but nobody ever does it. And like MNCC actually has all that data, and that's actually really really cool because that gives you the ability to actually do something with that data as opposed to just have to take a wild guess. It's like when you see these things where people say
Right.
like, how
Well,
many
that
street-
helps when you're justifying, especially if it's a decision about like a venue or
exactly
what you're letting in or not
that's
letting in.
really really important. But I mean, on top of that, just like for just the science of cars and stuff, and like just for like,
that like
marketing,
Scientology?
yeah,
Cool.
and for like marketing and stuff, that's like hugely important. I feel like more groups should be doing more stuff with their data.
I mean, it's a gray area, though, because we sell everyone's personal information to pornographic websites, and that's how we're funded.
Yeah,
knew
it's
it.
exactly
Don't
how
worry,
it works.
I submit people that waste my time to cat facts.
Oh, we have to put together that why are you watching porn ad with Tucker. We gotta
Oh
do a
yeah,
Peter with that one.
Wait, that's not necessarily Carbitrage related, but yes, we do have to do that. So anyway, segueing off of that, I want to talk about a show that we are currently, we were at, now it's done, but we're recording. So we are at my garage down here in Chanhassen at the Autoplex, and today is the season opener for the Cars and Caves show, which you
Very
guys caught the
wet.
very tail end of. It's worth mentioning a couple days ago it was 76 and bright, sunny, clear blue skies. And today it was 40 degrees, and I got snowed on a little bit pushing my 2002 inside.
and rained on, and it was
Yeah.
cold and very uncomfortable.
But anyway,
All the seasons.
I still saw Rolls Royce.
All the seasons.
there was some cool stuff here,
There was
but
a right-hand drive Z31. I think it was a 200 ZR, which is like
that's actually really cool.
Yeah,
Is
really
it, that
cool.
was that's a pre-facelift then?
post facelift, so you
that's
would
kooky?
be all about it. Yep.
Nice.
So I didn't like the body, but I like the 200 ZR if it is one.
Is that an RB20 then?
Yeah, yeah,
buddy.
Oh, touch it.
That is pretty tough.
Who was like, I just need to adjust. I'm just uncomfortable. nothing at all going on. Usual, just fine. But anyway, yeah, it's the season
Got this
opener.
hole in my pocket.
I do kind of. I feel a little bit bad because the turnout was low, but I mean, this happens to every car show that's on a cold, wet day. You get a lot of attrition, especially early in the season. But I mean, these shows, they're not. I mean, we put them on as the association, but we do them for free, and then we give kind of the control of the show over to a charity. And this month was Ronald McDonald House, so I feel a little bit bad that they're probably going to get like a really low turnout and maybe not come back just because they had
McDonald's.
Ronald McDonald House is a spin-off. I don't think it's still related, is it?
There.
All right,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
fine.
the-
I think it's
it's
still,
the name, yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, so I still think that this venue is so important to the Cars and Caves progressing, and I think it's kind of a nail in the coffin for something like the MN Cars and Coffee show,
Yeah.
which used to be here, and then also, to a lesser extent, kind of competition or like an alternative, even though it's on a different day, to the Medina Caffeine and Gasoline show. And I want to talk independently to you guys about how you feel about both of those shows. So I guess kind of starting with the Cars and Coffee, the one that used to be down here at the Chanhassen Autoplex. I think both of you guys had at least been to a couple of those shows down here, right?
Yep.
So, as we all know, it switched to a quote-unquote permanent venue at Canterbury Park 2 years ago, or 3 maybe now.
No,
And
Those two.
Too, yeah.
And just recently and silently, after they canceled the first one of the season, which for no reason, they moved it again to a casino parking lot, which is 4 lots, which are separated by a fairly busy street.
Oh, you know when Dan, you know this. You know, like when a star like it begins to expand to go supernova and then just explodes.
Yep.
Do you feel like you're kind of seeing a supernova here? I feel like I'm looking at a supernova.
I mean, only if you mean by the eventual collapse into a black hole.
And that's the thing. When you guys look at data, you see patterns, especially being, people that curate good events in the cities. So, like, what's your impression? Like, do you think that show is kind of on its way down? And that's a very leading question, but I still intend for you
It's
guys to answer
also
them.
a very stigmatizing question.
Yeah, but this is Carbitrage where you don't care about people's
Kua,
opinions.
you first.
I mean, no, but personally, I've only been to the Cars and Coffee. I've been to both of them, but
Sure.
I felt like the one here, everyone knew about the Cars and Coffee that was here.
Right.
Well,
And I think
it was on Speed Hunters.
And
Yeah.
do
It
you
was
think
one
that
of the
was
best shows in the world.
Do you think that was due more to the venue or to the actual show?
I think that was probably the venue.
Yeah, it's the venue. And
I think so too, because right after they switched it from the Chanhassen Autoplex to
Oh, yeah.
Canterbury Park, like the first show down at Canterbury was huge,
Yeah.
like the biggest I've ever seen turnout wise. The next month, half.
Yeah.
Like people are just like, this is a parking lot.
That
Yeah.
sucked.
I believe it to
It's
be
hot.
50-50. It's half the venue and half the actual people putting on the show.
Well, there's that, and I feel like the change of how they handled the sponsor layout really wasn't conducive to their venue change. Because here they had them all kind of in the middle by the exotics, so like you organically could ambulate through the sponsor tents, and that was kind of nice to give them exposure.
I think that was one of the main attractions here too. When
Yeah.
they had Cars and Coffee.
Yeah, you had to
hear-
go through the sponsors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Especially-
it's
yeah.
really well set up for it, and just the fact that you don't get overwhelmed, like you can't see everything all at once
Yeah.
here.
Well,
Whereas you're at a parking lot, like, I'm never gonna make
Yeah.
it there. I'm gonna Castaway.
Yeah.
Wilson's not even gonna get there.
So as someone who's hosted multiple parking lot shows, including one at, the exact same venue in Canterbury, parking lots aren't that interesting. Some venues are able to make it work, like your guys' event last year for Drive Cartel. Perfect. You guys were able to space it out, and it felt like it felt down to earth, and it felt perfect. I think, but
Down to
something
flat
like
earth.
this, when it almost becomes a parking lot, as it is because of how many cars are there, and the fact that it's not staged and there isn't really good
and there's no
movement
vetting
to it.
process
Yeah,
either
and
for
that
vehicles
too.
that are there.
I think the other issue with parking lot shows is that, all right, so if you're in the middle of Cars and Coffee at Canterbury, like you would be last year, if you're dead in the center, it's literally a sea of cars. At Modest, if you're dead in the center, that you can still see trees and like foliage, and you see the other stuff around it, and the cars become part of it. And the way you had it curved, like the cars being showed off, like curving out along the edge, was really cool. And you also had like sponsors and stuff over there too, so you weren't just like in this sea of endless cars. You were actually doing stuff.
I think this also breaks down to what makes a car event special. So our events are legit car shows, right? That have structure, a beginning, an end, and trophies, etc., right?
You guys even have a schedule.
Yeah, whereas Cars and Coffee markets itself as a car show, but really it's just a car meet. And I
Right.
think that having it in a
Yeah.
parking lot more so now reiterates that fact. Whereas how is it different from the under 94 meet
Yeah.
or
Or
other
there's
stuff?
so many weekly meets too. Like
Oh
Tuesday,
yeah, more now
there's-
than ever.
Tuesday used to be I think Wednesdays. I forget who has Wednesday, Thursday.
TCBMW does with
Yeah,
Karch.
Yeah, there you go.
Duh, plugging that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna start doing the Japanese classic car show or Japanese nostalgic car bi-weekly Tuesday meets, but it's it's totally overwhelming. And then
Yeah,
Wednesdays,
it is.
Wednesdays
Yeah.
you also have that little get together at the Chick-fil-A over
Yeah.
in Bloomington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesday
Oh,
was Emanilist, and then
Yeah.
Thursday was
Oh,
Cartel.
yeah, Wednesday
Yeah.
used to be the Sonic, but
Well,
Yeah,
Wednesdays
well,
also Kurt does that
Bi-weekly Mitsu
bi-weekly
meet, yeah.
Mitsu week.
Yeah.
So that
How do you
thing
guys
sells.
feel knowing that you invited 2 Mitsubishi people on today?
it's fine.
I'm fine with it.
Fine.
You're both two very broken-hearted individuals.
Yeah, I was gonna say the amount of trauma that you've experienced from your vehicles. Like, I just want to
One,
back up.
it's like the different stages of grieving because you're still grasping on for hope, and you're just sitting there having accepted it.
Are there 12 stages of grief in the Mitsubishi land, or do you guys have a chip for recovery?
So,
or?
Berger, you've
Yeah,
got the.
I've pulled up a
screen grab
map.
here
This
of
is
the
for
map.
this
That
is a
looks-
relevant thing. So that is their. You see this lot 3 and 4, and then a large road and a significant distance to lot 1 and 2.
So I'm not sure if you've ever been to Mystic Lake, but
I have not.
Many times.
I'm looking at that entrance, and I know just how big that entrance is. That's easily 100 feet
Yep.
between of walking up just down the street
Oh,
to
yeah.
get from
Yeah,
block
that's-
lot 2 to 3. That's a huge problem.
Oh yeah.
That's not conducive.
Now they did make the area a lot more pedestrian friendly. In between there, I believe, is a roundabout as well, plus like multiple different crosswalks.
The roundabout's actually on the other side. I think you are right. I think there are 2 roundabouts. I think where they
Yeah.
have that
Right
little
where
kinda
lot
half
2
diamond,
is
yeah.
actually that intersection, I believe, is also a roundabout.
Yes, I
now.
think so. Yeah.
Is the lot 4 and 3 the ramp?
Yeah, I think that's the ramp.
That's
Yeah.
the ramp.
But that's where spectator
that's right.
parking
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So
Okay.
lots
Dang,
1
that's
and 2
far.
are the actual
Yeah.
show, but it's like to get there, like
Yeah.
from spectator, like you're gonna lose people are just hanging out in spectator.
Yeah, they're just gonna probably be in the spectating lot.
Yeah, that's gonna be like a huge issue.
Personally, I do believe this is an improvement on Canterbury, though.
Oh yeah. 'cause,
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, no. Playing Frogger is more interesting than just wandering
Mm-hmm.
through the dune sea of cars.
It's very
The
true.
sea of
So what I would like to know is whether there's one in and out, basically entrance, because that was one of my favorite things about the old venue here is that you could, as a pedestrian, go and camp out
Yeah,
at the in and
everybody
out
leave.
location.
So the road on the
In-N-Out
right
burger.
there on the east side is sort of like, I think the only way that people are going to be going in and out more or less, because if you go straight through the casino, it's slow, there's speed bumps, and people want to avoid them.
But don't worry, they have plenty to eat and drink, which is, I shit you
Well, it's
not,
like they
one
actually-
of their like pros to this venue. I'm like, bro, I'm not going to a car show in the morning on a Saturday to drink a bunch of beer and eat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I guess like Scott does have a point with watching them exit. It looks like there is one exit because they've blocked off that main road that goes into lot 1.
Okay.
So I mean, you get that, but it's still at
But
the end of
I'm
the
curious
day,
to
though.
see how the interplay works, because there's a lot of parking lot there where they can't touch.
Yep.
Which is the main lots for casino patrons.
Yeah.
So like how I would almost go once just to see how it plays out, but I just don't think I even want to do it
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Live-
also
live vicariously through the media.
Pretty much, that's my plan.
You
I'll
also have
find
to
somebody that
understand,
went.
Kua, how long does it take for you to drive from your house? And you live in St. Paul, right?
No, I live in White Bear Lake.
You live in White Bear.
Yeah.
How long is your drive from White Bear to Mystic Lake?
I think that's about an hour drive for me.
Can you
Easily
see-
an hour drive.
Can you see the Mystic
almost an hour
lights?
for me,
so
too.
if you're not from Minnesota, Mystic Lake has these lights which you usually see on George Norrie's website. You see them mistaking for a UFO because they're just idiots.
Flat Earther, what?
But
Full circle.
it's one of those things where, like, I live in St. Louis Park, which is beyond the curvature of the Earth from being able to see Mystic, like, given everything being flat.
You have no proof.
Yeah, like, I exactly, I've got proof that the Earth is round. I cannot see Mystic from my house. But
It's a miracle you ever went to a Flat Earth show.
I know, right? But you can still, on a cloudy night, you'll see the Mystic lights from, like, downtown even.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you can get into the edges of St. Paul and still see the Mystic lights on the horizon in the southwest sky.
And I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, they form like a light teepee. The
Yeah,
implied
yeah,
lines
it's
or
that,
whatever,
yeah.
But
So, but that's the thing is, like, if you can't see that from your house,
if the
that is
curvature of the
fi-
Earth is between
that's
you
too
and the
far
show,
away. That's too far away because, like, the Mystic lights you can see through, like, the entire metro area.
Right.
And you live on, like, the East Metro, and there's a lot of car enthusiasts that live there.
that's where I live.
Yeah, like most car enthusiasts I know of. Like, I hold a show on the West Metro because there's like 5 of us, and like we are
The
kinda,
car
like,
culture's
left out,
pretty
yeah.
big on the west side, but it's a little different.
It's different, yeah. But the
Like import is big on the east side for sure.
yeah. Well, not only that, but like just like cars existing, or, like actually, because like here,
Yeah, the money's
here-
all on the west
Here,
side.
there's
Yeah.
here it's like exotics and like lifted trucks, which I guess is like that's what Tyler's into, I guess.
Again, the money's on the west side.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
the $100,000 brodozers and the least McLarens.
You know, eventually,
Some
I
BMWs and what was coming in? I saw a bunch of Mercedes.
yeah, exactly. I think,
Crossovers.
I think
Mercedes crossovers and BMW crossovers.
Best,
Yeah,
best crossover award.
so. Good news is, if you have Mankato,
This is slightly closer
2025,
now, yeah.
2025, you will have your first Cars and Coffee. You're almost there.
Right? Yeah, they're just moving slowly.
They're eventually just going to be in Mankato proper.
Which I mean, there's actually
So
what's that car group
507
called
guys,
down
there you go.
507.
Yeah, 507. It's a
FCS.
FCS.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to go to their opener meet, actually. It sounded interesting. I haven't actually been to one of their shows, but I heard
their
they're
shows are
pretty
great.
okay.
I try to go down with Chase whenever I can because he always has a big crew that comes down from the cities.
Because one of them like overlapped with the first Cars and Coffee, I think, or something. I'm like, well, why would I ever go to this Cars and Coffee event when I could drive 10 miles further and get in Mankato?
Yeah. No, like, well, that's the thing is I really wish
But
I wish we had an additional mic so I can get one of the guys from 507 on. In fact, actually,
we could do an at the show meet with the Shure microphone, which worked really well.
yeah, I think we could do that. But if not, I'm gonna start hitting up the guys from 507 and get somebody to see if they can drive up here.
Well, it's not
just
very
kinda
far
long
to
for them.
Chanhassen from them, so it should
But
be
still,
fine.
it's an annoying drive this early on a Saturday. You know,
It's not that early. Noon
It's
is
noon.
not very
Noon
early.
is early on.
It's
a Saturday.
early for you, Ryan.
Yeah, and Kua and Zing and everybody.
Well,
Like,
they've been able to make Emin and I car shows on Saturdays. I think they could make
okay, yeah,
this.
they can make this. Yeah, I can get somebody.
So
to
yeah,
come in.
that's
Yeah.
to reiterate. Yeah, an hour from White Bear. From my house in St. Paul, it's almost 50 minutes. 50 with no
50.
traffic. 50 minutes.
Jesus.
Without entry time and parking and all that kind of stuff. So
That's
it's-
insane.
That takes 2 hours out of my day. So that's less time I'm going to spend there. I mean, Chanhassen isn't close, but it's like a 35 to 40 minute drive. So that's a significant difference.
Yeah, that's awful.
Canterbury was already 15 minutes further. So this is, another 5-10 minutes after that. So it's just
Well, there's this other thing
Probably
where
10.
we talked about where most car enthusiasts live, and it's usually in suburbs because you need a garage. Usually, it's like a first ring suburb that you live in, and going out to like a third ring, fourth ring, this is kind of like in the middle of nowhere.
this is beyond Exurbia. This is downright rural.
Yeah, because I mean, Bloomington's the second ring, Shakopee's third ring. This is on a reservation.
Technically,
Like,
Shakopee,
yeah, this is like really out there.
This
and
is
getting-
rural.
get-
You
getting
go down there, it's
rural-
farmland still.
Yeah,
It is farmland.
yeah, it
Like
is.
even housing developments are like pretty scarce out there right now.
Yeah,
I hate to
and-
break it to you guys, though. It's the exact same distance from your house to here as it is to there.
Whatever.
Well,
Yeah,
anyway.
but traffic on what 494.
But
Dan,
my
you can
world
go
is
home.
black and white and it's all grainy.
I'll take my leave.
Tupperware is falling out of my cupboard.
But yeah, no, you really have to like go. It's like, yeah, like if you're like trying, because the thing is like
Whatever.
what I liked about having Cars and Coffee here is like when it was here, I worked those Saturdays, and I could schedule around that. I could say, yeah, I'm gonna come into work at 10 a.m. I wake up at 7, and then be at the show, be wrapped up by
9.
8,
Well,
9, yeah, 9, 8 if I'm trying to get some stuff done.
Well, on the really the in its peak, maybe a year before it moved from here.
Yeah,
A lot of people were in by 7, out by 9:30.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the show was actually trying to fight. They were trying to get people to stay, come in they were actually advertising like come in at 9:30. There's going to be a bunch of open spaces then, and then stay through 11 or whenever they actually canceled it out. But nobody did. I mean, this place was a ghost town an hour before its official end at noon.
Yeah.
So,
It's the only type of thing you can get car people to come early to our car shows.
yeah.
and I
That's
think
true.
unless Cars and Coffee, MNCNC, not CEC, not to be confused, unless they
Ampersand.
get the fairgrounds, that show is done.
Yeah,
In my
they really
opinion.
they have to move it back into the city. It's also these like to be honest, like
Fairgrounds has plenty of room. Everyone knows where it is.
does anybody
It's
remember
nice.
Rice Killers from back in the day?
Sure do.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, up in Fridley before they moved to. They did the same thing. They were in Fridley, great location. Moved to Champlin. Awful, horrible black hole in the earth that you should never go to.
When it was in Plymouth, it was great.
Yeah, and when it was in Fridley, it was great. And then it went to Champlin, and it was awful.
Yeah.
Nobody's driving to Champlin. There's nothing like Champlin's on the way nowhere.
No, like now he's on the way to literally nowhere. Like if you go to Champlin, you're going to encounter a meth head. Like it's not a matter of
Well,
you
it's-
might, like you literally will. So it's like, but I mean,
This
the
isn't
same,
St. Cloud.
but I mean, like it's close enough. But I mean, it's the same thing. I think if MNC ampersand C, if they went to the cities, I think if they did like a $1 entry charge.
I don't think that would cover the venue.
But
I mean, Dan would
that's
be able
true.
to speak to that maybe more,
No.
but I know it's an
That's
expensive
true.
Unless
venue.
they could guarantee their attendance every time, and then the question is, will people pay it out of principle or
Yeah,
not?
and that's
Right.
true. That's very tough.
And
But
they're
I mean,
always touting like we will keep it a free show, blah. I'm like, I get it, but okay. So I think fairgrounds. That would have to be it for them
It's
to
so
sustain.
expensive.
I know, but
Or
what do you
downtown
guys think?
Minneapolis
Is
or
there
something, but yeah.
is there a viable
I would say
alternative that
that-
you could think of that you would actually see their show not only kind of sustaining but maybe even growing back to what it was?
Any place that is a like decent street or scenic venue, so like downtown Minneapolis, downtown St. Paul, or State Fairgrounds.
Do you think they could swing the permits every month on that
They
Saturday?
probably could if it's big enough. I
You
mean,
never
they're-
know.
they
They say
probably-
that they're
okay.
completely funded through sponsors, so if that's
Sure.
possible, then
You know,
Okay.
you know, come to think of it,
That's a
Dan,
genuine question.
You've,
I have no
you've got
idea.
actually a really good point about that because there's a lot of businesses in like downtown Minneapolis and downtown St. Paul
Yeah.
that would love some foot traffic on a Saturday morning for
Yep.
the brunch rush. So instead of like giving a crazy sale, it's just like you have people there.
I think the farmers market.
Yeah,
Farmers markets.
Because it's an interesting looking venue too, especially the St. Paul one.
yeah. The St. Paul Farmers Market's a really good location.
There's a bunch of locations, but just really up to them.
Well,
to
and
see
it's
what they-
it's close
yeah.
to the population density. I
Exactly.
think that's
And
pretty.
I think
huge.
I think that's the main thing that when we were looking for areas
Yeah.
or places, that was like a huge thing. Like we don't want to be like too far or too crowded. Had to pick a place that was like right in between.
You're not trying to go to like Hastings.
And I'm not
Or-
trying to
Kinda go
get you
to, like-
guys to divulge your secret locations or anything
no.
for these guys, but yeah.
No, that's,
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like it's at the end of the day, we're all Minnesota. Like we're car enthusiasts in the state of Minnesota. We're kind of a rare breed here, and even with our small petty differences, helping each other out's huge.
yeah.
I think that's why Tyler's burnt a couple bridges with some people, but I mean at the same time,
We still
it's
had
like,
him on the podcast. It's
we're-
great to talk to him.
Yeah, no, no, that's the thing is,
I
I'm,
still
I'm
do
not,
the
I'm not
cannonball
mad.
rallies
Yeah, no,
and-
I'm not mad at him or anything. But I know he makes some people mad. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like I don't want to see Tyler fail. I want to see like at the end of the day,
Right.
everything he does is a good thing for the car community. And at the end of the day, he's still a car enthusiast, and I can get along with him better than I can some random person at like Whole Foods.
For sure.
So
And
like,
that's the thing. I think like I offer these criticisms because I'm worried that this at one point the largest monthly recurring show in the world
Yeah.
is like it's going to die in its current, in my opinion, in its current trajectory. It's going to die, and I don't want to see that happen. I still like the show, but I mean, in my opinion, this is not the way to do it.
yeah, no, that's a really good really good point about it.
I agree.
And I think, segueing off that like whole Minnesota car enthusiasts being kind of like really intertwined a lot more than like SoCal car enthusiasts. I'm not sure if you've ever been there, but if you talk to somebody from like the SoCal car enthusiast community, like if you talk to somebody with like a Japanese car and ask them about the Euro guys,
Yeah.
or like vice versa, like they're like, oh yeah, well, light their houses on fire. F those guys. There's like a huge rivalry. It's just like Minnesota. It's like Minnesota. It's like you meet somebody with a muscle car.
You're like, is that a ZR1?
Yeah, it's like if you got like a Honda, like you usually try to get along with them. It's on the other person not to. And it's a very
Right.
rare thing where you meet somebody that like legitimately has like a Challenger and is a complete dick about it, because like you don't have anybody else to talk to. You know?
Right. Well, you can talk to other Challenger people.
And so I was wondering, how do you guys feel about the overall state of the Minnesota car community? Like, how do you feel about like the way car enthusiasts feel? Do you think the last few years,
How's the morale doing?
yeah, like in the last few years, has it gotten better? Because I at least personally feel that our car show quality has gotten better because of groups like you two, like MNCC and Drive Cartel.
There's something to be said there also about just like the spirit of competition, right? Like
Yeah.
none of us are at odds with each other, but like when we see each other's events, we're like, oh hey, that's a great idea. We should improve ours by doing X, Y, or Z thing.
Yeah, how can I be better than them?
You know,
Which is good though.
Yeah,
no,
it's
if
really
you-
good. It's
Like, how can we mutually improve the quality of our shows by using each other's ideas?
The Model T sucked until the Chevrolet came around. Like you need to have that competition, and then once you hit the competition, you end up with a 409 Impala. So,
Giddy up 409.
but no, I do want to know how you guys each individually feel about that.
Cool, you want to go first, or
You can
want
go
me to?
first.
No. Let's make Kua do it.
Who's gone first every time?
Fine. Dan can go first.
Dan goes first.
So obviously,
Keeping you on your toes.
let's start with the base. This question is sort of emotional in nature, so clearly, like, facts and figures probably do nothing in this
No,
argument.
absolutely
So,
not. And that's why I wanted. Wanted to throw this at you.
This is why you will do well in this question,
For
Balto.
sure. So if this is one of those, like, I'm licking my finger and, like, putting it up into the wind, trying to feel for the forecast, I'd say for, how the Minnesota community specifically is trying to ignore, like, external features, like how the, nationwide car community is
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Because of, like, technological factors and other things that are changing it. I'd say overall there's probably a better spirit of, like, togetherness, and I think that just as we said with our car shows, how we use them to be better than each other, I think we see the exact same thing with how people are, like, stepping up their build qualities and project cars and stuff in the state as well.
That's really huge too
Yeah,
about the
like,
build quality.
I hate to say that it's like an escalation of arms, so to speak.
No, it
but-
should be. That's what
Yeah.
cars are. It's
Yeah.
an arms race.
Yeah, so I think we're starting to see, like, the next
Come on,
arms
Warhead.
race basically for, like, our car community,
Yeah.
for at least our generation.
Yeah.
I'm just
And
I'm waiting for Mugen body kitted CRX executives, like the leather interior, like being a thing, like here, because I want like people to, like really go over the top. Like I want to see our community become like California quality, where it's like you go to a car show with the express purpose to shit on everyone with the best build.
So, and we kind of already are. It's a question of what part of the community are we looking at?
Yeah,
because
it's
like
true.
Back to the 50s has been great forever, right?
But it's like they're all like it's the same cars.
exactly.
It's the exact same cars.
So the question is more like, how can our generation, a generation that, statistically speaking, is financially behind the eight ball, how
Yeah.
can we afford these awesome builds then and make them better, as well as car costs keep going up, specifically with classics. So that's kind of a whole nother wrench in the gears, I guess.
Ah, you
might
said
say.
a whole nother Dan Balto.
So cool. What do you think?
I think, like being at like just talking to people, even at like car shows and Modest, I think it's pretty good. Because we always get like positive, feedback about,
I
people
love
that
every one of the
yeah.
shows I've been to for both of
Yeah.
you guys,
Yeah.
but I mean
Yeah.
they're the ones I seek out now.
And I think it's good too because we like literally, I go to take pictures and everyone's really happy. I think that's a good thing. No one's really mad or causing major drama.
That's true. That is
Just
a really
like
big
major
thing.
drama,
Yeah.
Well, are the people who want to cause drama going to the events, or
Yeah.
are they just shit
No,
talking online?
they're
Yeah,
shit talking
yeah.
online, but they don't matter because
Yeah.
it's like
But-
Bernie Sanders
yeah.
supporters in 2016. It's like they were the loudest people in the room, but who came out and voted? Like
Yeah,
nobody.
exactly,
And
yeah.
then we ended up with Trump.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
But I mean, like they can
We'll
talk,
take that one
yeah.
offline.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's like these people that are like have a loud voice. They're not going to do anything. They're just going to sit there and be loud. And they're on the internet because they're doing nothing.
Yeah.
And they're just
For
being
sure.
loud. They're not
Yeah.
building cars.
Yeah.
Because they're building cars. They won't have time to be loud on the internet.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about like I think when we started doing cars and crafts, it was very relaxed, really chill, and just going out and talking to people. I think that was the biggest thing. I think it was just really cool talking to people, like random people, just to like, hey, how's your build? How's it going? Having a fun time, and everyone's having a good time. And I thought that
Well,
was
it's a small enough venue where you're not intimidated by like, oh, all these
Yeah.
people. I'm like, you can
Yeah.
actually, just go approach somebody and
Yeah.
they're,
yeah.
It-
and I thought-
that's
yeah.
that's the beautiful thing about
Yeah.
cars and
And I
crafts.
think like with Minnesota, I think it's getting better. Like you said too. I mean, overall, it's better. Everyone's trying to improve, which is good too.
Yeah, I
Right.
think there will always, of course, be
Yeah.
that underlying Minnesotan passive aggressiveness. Though.
Well, there is this thing that I've noticed.
underlying. That's first and foremost, my man.
So with like just in the like import car journalist community that I'm in, I come across a lot of people like from other states mentioning Minnesota when they weren't otherwise, because these pictures of these cars, all these builds are getting out on the internet and everything, and
Yeah.
it was I was talking to the dude that runs Van Culture, and he mentioned Minnesota builds specifically. The dude with the Black Odyssey, who's unfortunately I think he's moving to Wisconsin.
I
but mean,
really
He
like
is,
that
but
van.
he'll still be at the Minneapolis Mile.
Yeah.
yeah, but
That
I
thing
mean
is
like.
sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fred,
but-
Fred's the guy's name.
Yeah, Fred Silway, that's his name. Yeah, but yeah, he was specifically mentioned as like a really good national van build, and Hubert's van. I'm not sure if you've met Hubert, but
Yep, the Toyota.
yeah, the Sienna, like his van's kick ass. But like, and stuff like that, like a lot of these cars are like where you previously, like, people would say, wait, Minnesota has actually, I thought everything's just rusted out. Like, no, it's like people are actually like, oh, there's some dope cars like that are actually in Minnesota.
Look at that little Honda N600 pickup or whatever that thing is
Yeah.
with the Gixxer motor in it. I mean,
Yeah.
that thing got national notoriety.
Oh
with
yeah,
the
no,
1320.
I'm waiting for Alex to finish it up because I'm got an article that I'm going to be writing on that for S3.
Yeah.
And
I
like,
love the carpet in that thing, man.
Wooly the editor is like super hungry for it. He's like, dude, like, what is going on? Like, I'm sorry, he's putting a turbo on it. Like, and then no, then a lot of these cars that we used to go out street racing with, like, I'm not sure, Dan, I don't think I ever saw you at the races, but I think, did you ever go
Twice.
out to the races?
You know,
couple
back in
times,
the day,
yeah, a
it's
couple of
like-
days back in the day.
Back in the day when
Do you-
they didn't have the rail going across.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, Ricky used to bring out this. I'm not sure if you know Ricky with all the Mazdas and everything. No, but he's got this really dope Yamaha Banshee ATV, and I just wrote up an article on that I'm in the process of finishing up, and so it's really cool. And what I'm doing with the Carbitrage blog is I want to start doing some little mini features like I used to do with MNCC blog.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff like that really does help get our personal community here out into the national spotlight. And I think that's really kind of what our goal is just to make it a better overall community. And yeah, no, I've noticed that as well, that everything's gotten a lot better. I mean, if you look at, where we were 2012 versus now, like, God, I wouldn't trade anything for the world for it now.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the street racing culture is a little bit better, but
Yeah.
and how do you guys feel about the Euro culture? Actually, I'm gonna throw this one at you because EuroWorks went away,
Yep.
and I mean they're doing Overcrest now. They got all the guys on EuroWorks, which is cool.
Yep.
But no, that show, I mean that really did a lot for the German car culture. But I've noticed that I haven't seen much since then.
I'm not
yeah.
really familiar with the Euro.
Yeah, like you haven't really
yeah.
seen much for the Euro community.
Like
so-
I'd like to. Like I know that there was that BMW at the 10 Pros.
yeah, like
thing, but
I would love to see
yeah.
some more from
I'd
them.
love to see some more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, there is that MNBMW Facebook group, but I mean,
It's
pretty
fractured, is the best way
disjointed
to
and
say it.
fractured. Yeah, I mean,
So like the Nordstern group keeps to themselves pretty hard right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to sort of get them to start coming out to stuff and participating a
so
bit more.
does
But
MNMB.
yeah,
They're all, fairly tightly knit certainly, but they're very, they're into their own pools of Kool-Aid.
yeah.
So yeah,
And
getting them to bring some cars out is.
other than
tough.
that, though, I mean, to me, the BMW clubs are fractured, the Audi clubs are fractured, and the Volkswagen clubs are fractured into like
Honda community's just exploded. Like
Yeah.
it's in pieces because the whole theft. Like
You're always
to be
gonna-
honest,
Their cars are in pieces.
Yeah,
so
but
the way
cars
I
are
see it, if I had my choice, there are people in the community that I believe could unite each of these groups individually. However, whether
No, I
they
got
have the
banned from there.
time Or, yeah, there you go.
yeah, he did get banned.
But
coming at you,
you know what I mean?
BMW,
It's
the
you
group
know,
I helped start originally.
Yeah, Burger got banned from BMW
man.
because he references black.
E30 M3.
E30 M3 is African American, and they just like lost their minds.
Yeah, I woke up to being banned. So
Wonderful.
overly PC apparently doesn't always work. Anyway, that's
But like,
neither
you
neither
know what I
here nor
mean? Like
there.
they're all fractured for like different reasons. Like
Well, yeah, you've got like the stanced M3 crowd, then you got like the tuned JB4 335i crowd, then you've got the classic BMW crowd, and then you've got like the daily drivers, and just like none of those people want to talk to each other. They're all the car enthusiasts that are. When you talk to another one, they're waiting to talk about their own shit. They have no interest in what the other person's doing. And that's just, it's not conducive to branching out. I mean, there are certainly exceptions to that rule.
yeah.
Or if somebody's actually interested, like when I go to a BMW show, like I'm going to go find the clapped out 318i in the corner, and I'm going to be like, that
it
is
sounds like
mint.
elitism gone wild.
And it shouldn't be, because they're $5,000 used cars.
And the weird thing is, I agree with him. Well, I only
You agree so hard, you almost pulled your headphones off, sir.
I only seem to see that with the BMW groups too. Like I haven't really noticed it in the Volkswagen or Audi world.
No, it's because
Like,
everyone's talking about their vape juice
Well,
instead
no,
of the cars.
in the Volkswagen Audi world, like they all understand because everybody's got a 2OT and they're all sitting in the same shop. Like,
And they
on
took their
leader
loaner cars
timer
to the-
chains.
I got my Chevy Cruise, man.
all the Volkswagen meets. Yeah, dude, I got the blue good Karma car. What do you got? They're like, oh, I got the orange further car. What do you got? He goes, oh, I got the Mark III from SCI. Cool. So, does anybody actually have a running 2-liter turbo? No? Nobody? Okay.
They're united by the common plight of the 2.0 TSI failures.
And then everybody gets quiet for a minute, and like off in the background, you hear, oh my God, it's a Tiguan coming!
I thought you were trying to do VR6 noises.
No, it's a rattling of a timing chain on a Tiguan from miles away.
Yikes.
But I mean,
At least they have that common element, though.
Yeah.
Like our unreliability brings us together. Or
Yeah.
the BMW, like the cars themselves are so far apart from one another. Like I see why the owners don't really relate to one another.
well, the beauty was like with the Honda community back 10 years ago
Before they were stolen.
when they were getting stolen.
Okay,
Is
when they were getting
everybody,
stolen.
regardless, you could have a brand new at that point in time like EM2, or not EM2, FD2 air like generation Kimmy's car. Yeah, you could have one of those like brand new.
Like an 06
Yeah, like an
Civic for the
06,
people that are
yeah.
listening that have no
Yeah.
goddamn
You
clue
could have,
what we're
like
talking about.
a 06 Civic Si, which
Yeah.
is like brand new at that point in time, and then you could have like somebody with the 80 Prelude and somebody with a 94 Integra like made of rust of the body kit that was put on in, like
And
1998.
a Honda Element EX 5-speed all-wheel drive.
And every single person will, like, they'll be elitist about their own thing. Like, because, like, the Accord community, if you try to tell somebody from the Accord community that Civic's better, like, they'll, fight you about, like, physically fight you. And,
Hey, aren't you the guy with the bat?
yeah, exactly. They will physically fight you about that. But that's the thing is, like, even though they're like that, they still have this commonality of, like, all of our shit gets stolen.
Like my engine in my 06 will bolt into your 89.
Like, this is really cool. And that's the beauty is, like, there was a lot of elitism with the Honda community, but it's just the right amount to really make it excel. 10 years ago.
Like the Hyundai? Hyundai Excel?
Yeah. But like that's the thing with like I've noticed that like a lot of the with the BMW community is like you have just so much elitism. It's like feudalism. It's like you have so much
just
elitism.
different
You're not doing anything.
Demographics, because you've got the orthodontists with the F80 M3s, you've got the Subaru kids with their slammed Raceland E36s and the vapes.
Yeah.
You've got the purest douchebags with the E30s.
Yeah.
And then you've got 335 people, which are just like the people that like were born with a hammer stuck in their brain as a defect. But it's just like these people aren't compatible. So that's why the BMW group is so crap.
Yeah, that's true. It's really true, and that's kind of the beauty is like a lot of these communities. And today with like Mitsubishi and stuff, like everybody agrees modern Mitsubishi sucks. And there's one guy with a
Let's let the Mitsu people talk about the Mitsubishi community, because I'm curious, like, how does it work for you guys?
Well, from what I've seen, like I know it's totally different because I own a Mirage,
Which is the best one.
yeah, you
No,
own
it's
you
literally-
literally own the best Mitsubishi.
yeah, it's
currently in
literally
production.
like the only one that's selling well because it's cheap.
It's offered at the manual.
obviously.
Yes.
And it's offered at
But
the
it's
manual.
seriously like I'm on the Mirage forums and it's like selling really well compared to other, just because
I'm going to mute
it's
Ryan's
cheap.
microphone for now
How's it
here.
sell compared to the Outlander?
Well, no, not as good, but still,
I
like
still muted?
for what it is,
Am I
for
still-
its
No, you're not.
class,
Okay,
it's
good.
doing really well compared to like the Versas and
cross.
Gas face.
I put this question to you guys, and now we're just shitting all over it.
Well, I think
Not
that-
bad.
but I mean,
this is how Mitsubishi gets along. Though is everybody shits on the new cars.
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
yeah, but it's totally fine. I mean,
Honda went through
it is-
that.
Yeah,
Honda,
it is
that
what
was
it
Honda in
is,
2013.
We should really just be focusing the hatred on the Eclipse Cross and the automatic Evos.
For those of you on sound only,
Dan Baltos
everybody
just
looked
flipped
at
me
Dan,
off.
and Dan gave everybody the middle finger.
Because he has an automatic Evo.
No, but I mean, it does seem like the Mitsubishi community is small but dedicated.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Like
And they're always gonna love like the old school, DSMs and Evos
Yeah.
too. So I think that's if it feels like it with me at least, like that's kind of where most of like everyone that has Evo 10 now, they all used to have
Evo
the
9s.
DSMs.
Yeah,
And
DSMs.
that's-
Yeah, like
Kinda
I had
how
a
they
second
started.
gen GSX
Yeah,
with
exactly,
some
yeah.
mods, and now I got an Evo.
So they're all pretty familiar with that.
Well,
At least there's like that clear stepping stone, and like the people are still kind of compatible. They're in
Yeah.
the same mindset.
Yeah,
where it's just like
exactly.
with BMW, it's like it's two completely different
Yeah.
demographics that came from different places. So
Well, it's
I
because
get
we
where you're
stay
coming from
humble.
there.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have to because your shit's always broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other things is I've noticed that Mitsubishi people, and kind of like Honda people back in 2006,
Yeah.
You can have somebody with the Evo 10 and somebody with the Evo, like a 1,000 horsepower Evo 9, and you're all sitting there looking at a third gen Eclipse. Like all looking at the same one, because the third gen Eclipse is like a Montero engine or something.
Yeah.
And then like,
It's a minivan, it's a
Yeah.
Mitsubishi.
and
Chrysler
then
minivan
you're all like, oh, you're all in like concurring that this is cool in its own way. I think that's kind of the thing that's like really important of like growing a
Well, I mean,
community
there's
is like
a lot
being able
in-
to appreciate stuff.
There's a lot in the Mitsubishi where like you can start off with like a first gen, even like not even necessarily a turbo, but like a first gen DSM or something, and then like migrate to like a GSX,
Yeah.
and then step up to like a second gen, maybe skip the third, and then you end up in an Evo 9 or something, or an Evo 10. But where do you go from there? I mean, you get the Halo car from the Mark. Like I see a lot of Evo 10 people going to like R35s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's, but beyond that, I mean, yeah, you have a path that like
Yeah.
how
Not
are
only
you
have
gonna
a
how are you
good
gonna
path.
take
More
with your
importantly-
Mitsubishi? Like you're not gonna stray.
I hate to say this actually, but statistically, more, I should say, past Evo owners move
Yeah.
on to either Corvettes or Porsches than they do GTRs.
Really?
Yes,
That makes
sir.
sense.
That's
yeah.
surprising.
Yeah.
But
Makes sense.
well, there's the other thing
Well, I
is,
mean,
there is like
GTRs are automatics. So that sucks.
regardless of the price point of the car, it's appealing to everyone.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
if you're in the $1,000 price point, which is the third gen Eclipse,
Yeah, like a,
there's
like
stuff.
an RS.
Yeah. Well, no, a third gen.
Oh,
7V6
right, the
front-wheel
roundy
drive.
one. Yeah, gross.
Like,
Who do we know with one of those?
Justin Zolsdorf. He's got the world's fastest third gen Eclipse.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like that car
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
But no, there's like if you have like a third gen or something, like you can still build it to be appealing to somebody who has an Evo 9, and you can build an Evo 9 to be appealing to somebody that's got an Evo 10 or a Galant AMG, or it's like you got all these different variants where it can be appealing to everyone. Whereas with the BMW community, you have these two totally different groups of 3-4.
I think the word
different groups.
disjointed is
Yeah.
really good for the
It's
BMW
really disjointed,
community.
yeah.
Because I mean, the Mitsubishi, you always have that common thread of like, oh, all that stuff you did, like I can either use directly the same stuff you did,
It's
or
all
like
the
a
same
variant
vein.
of it, and it will just bolt into my shit box,
It-
and then it'll be a fast one.
It's all in the same vein of like this car is totally underrated.
Right.
Like whereas like the BMW people, you have the E30 people who are like, yeah, I told you my cheap car was gonna be worth a whole bunch of money, and then you have the
that's the
people with
thing.
with a 335i going, I don't understand why my car's worth nothing. You know.
But I mean, the people with E30s aren't upgrading to 335s, and
Yeah.
like none of the build that people are looking at with each other's builds, like they have no frame of reference, like there's no commonality. Whereas in Mitsubishi, like
You
it
have that,
fundamentally,
yeah.
you can look at somebody else's build and be like, that's a really good idea.
That is.
And like I can
very true.
use that same thing on your Evo 9 on my first gen DSM. Like I can just like I think it's much more relatable. So you
Yes.
get people to actually look at each other's builds in earnest, and then they are on that same path. So the person with the modded first gen DSM may move on to an Evo 10 or something like that in the future.
And I think, and then to kind of come back a little bit more full circle, I think maybe with the whole Minnesota car community as a whole, you know, at least I personally, I feel like we do have kind of this common thread, like the Mitsubishi guys do versus the BMW guys, where at the end of the day, regardless of what you have, if you're building something cool, it makes everybody look good.
Yeah.
As opposed to like BMW's a lot more like California.
Well, and the thing with kind of building on what you're saying is, I mean, the beauty of the multi-make shows is you get like, hark back to the 335 guys. You get them and the B8 S4 guys and like the 3-liter turbo Infinity guys. Like they all have that commonality because they're all running the same aftermarket turbos. They're all dealing with the same fueling system problems. So there's at least
timing
something.
chains.
Yeah, they're all not good with timing chains. The B8 S4 is pretty good, and so is the N55. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm getting at, because I mean, like the BMW guys are not getting anything from the BMW community, but they may have a common link where they're running like the same ECU or something like that, and they've got the same encryption problems, or like they're looking at the same aftermarket water meth kit. I'm like, just things that a later model in your make person is never going to have with an early model car. So I think being able to appreciate the build quality and then also the solutions to problems with other makes is huge, and I think that's much more useful than having a make-specific car club.
Well, that explains why all the Evo 10 guys get the hate then. 4B11 and all.
Because of the automatics?
No, 4B11.
No, 4B11,
4B11
aluminum
is a 4G63.
aluminum engine that's
Oh.
just inferior to 4G63.
Yes
Actual
and no,
fact.
actually.
Real fact. Anyway,
No,
moving on.
not even
So,
It's been
what-
proven.
it's proven by facts, by science. This has been proven
I don't know
scientifically.
who's mic to mute now. My brain is confused.
So, before we start a knife fight here, what
I was
do you,
brandishing mine under
I
the
know,
table.
right? What do you think we could do to actually better the Minnesota car community as a whole? You know, beyond, personally, I believe that regardless of what you're doing, doing something that is just of a higher quality, like leave the plastic up at home. Like, just don't do that. If your car has got a patina on it, either love the patina or just shell out and actually, like, at least do a vinyl wrap or attempt to do one yourself.
Yeah,
Like-
so I don't know. The first thing that popped into my head was part of it's about perfecting the process, right?
Yeah.
And I think part of the way we do that, especially because I'm willing to hazard a guess that most car people are visual learners,
Yeah.
is just bring people out to events, whether they're car shows or track events or stuff like that. Just bring people who are new to the community out to those things. Like Cars and Coffee, I think, was probably the first car event I ever went to.
Yeah.
And then like the Mitsu Cookout was for sure the first car show I ever put my car in. And I think like having that sort of like stepping stone before you really get into like, the hardcore stuff that people will actually rag on you on. Like, I think that's the healthy way to do it, because you don't want to go dive in right away because you'll get eaten by the sharks. But if you sort of like wade in initially and sort of like, get a feel for it all, I think that probably leads to healthy development.
Okay. Yeah.
I agree too. Like it comes back to like I said, even just going back to like Cars and Crafts and just literally just talking to people. Like, hey, like they didn't even know this show was happening. It's like, hey, I have this car. Is it okay if I come by? It's like, yeah, just come by, man. It's like, even if it's just like a if they're new, definitely bring them in, because that's how you attract.
It is true.
It's like giving them the
yeah.
good drugs.
Give them the good,
Yeah.
the good information.
Yeah, you want to get them hooked.
Yeah.
Give them the good drugs.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you just talk to them, just let them know that it's like, don't listen to everyone online. You gotta show them like, this is like the good path to go to.
Be yourself, or
Yeah.
you'll be by yourself.
Well,
Yeah,
do
exactly.
something unique too. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about that Odyssey. Like, I don't know anyone that doesn't
Yeah.
like think that thing's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, you could be one of the 800 people with the 350Z that's built to be like a budget like drift car, or you could spend that money and get something really weird, and then attract people's attention by having something really weird.
Well, like, I'll put it this way. I really love my built Evo 10, but at the same time, I almost wish I had put that money into EV swapping my 4G Eclipse.
I really wish you did too.
I know, right?
I wish you had bought a manual Evo 10,
But
DCTs win
So-
races.
SST, and
anyway, so before Berger insults Daniel on a
I already
personal
did
level,
it. I already did it. Done it.
do-
We'll do
you
it
think
again. Have
that
done it.
The future growth of the Minnesota car community rests more on the shoulders of the enthusiasts or the people that hold the shows. Also being enthusiasts, but the people that have the power to actually put together a show. Do you think that our next step of growth is building better cars, or do you think it's having better shows to show off what we already have?
I would say
That's a tough
personally, no.
question.
It is
I'm not gonna lie, because I would probably say the car shows, because I mean, most of the time people that build the cars, they want to show it off.
I think we got a lot of really good cars.
Yeah.
Like
We have a lot of cars.
Modest
that,
100
yeah.
shows that
But-
we have
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, we have
right?
enough, but there are still a lot that we haven't seen.
Well,
like-
shows like that
Exactly.
bring the stuff that nobody's ever seen.
Yeah.
That's been built and it's
Yeah.
just kicking around
Yeah.
in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
And I think having a good car show definitely it'll like first you have a couple, but that first one definitely
Yeah.
should help that
Get-
process.
you start small and you go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much field of dreams. It's if you
Yeah.
build it, they will
yeah,
come.
yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
it's not a matter of like, oh, we got plenty of shows. Because I know there's a lot of people that would say like we got plenty of shows. Their cars just suck. It's just no. We've got plenty of cars. We just need more shows for them to get shown off.
And
at.
another thing too is like even on like weekly meets, there are cars that come by and we're like, where have you
Where
guys
have you been?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like come by the show. You know, it's like,
so-
yeah.
Billy, how do you guys promote to like get those people to like how do you put this in front of the eyes that were otherwise blind to the car
I
show?
think like when I was at the Katang meet, I think there was a guy that had a black NSX. I've never seen it before, and I was just like, dude, come by, like one of the car shows. You just have to talk to them straight
Like
up.
the teacup meetup in Brooklyn Center, there was a right-hand drive JDM front K-swapped DC Integra that I saw. Where did this
Yeah,
come from? It had
yeah.
like a bunch of like rare like Jun parts on it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
Like how long have you had it? Like 12 years. Like what? But no.
But I think that's the one of like the one of the things that you have to bring people out because most of them if they don't come out they're gonna be really shy too.
Right.
It's true.
You definitely gotta
Well, it's like Gio's RX-7.
Oh yeah.
Like-
yeah.
If I didn't take a picture of that and like I had to like drag him to like get a picture of to like do a photo shoot of his car to get it into S3 magazine, and like he was just like I don't know. I think a lot of car people are really self-conscious.
Yeah.
About the cars.
There's definitely that, and like maybe it's like I'm not sure it's like show worthy. I'm not sure it's good enough for a
Yeah.
show, but like it totally is.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you were saying, like that black NSX, but you had seen the car, or you just heard about it by talking to the person. Because like, how do you get that person who's just like he's following you on Facebook or whatever you're using to advertise, and they've got this cool thing at home that they necessarily don't think it's worth their time to bring it out, or they don't want to allow it out. How do you get that person to your show to get them more or less hooked, and so other people can see and appreciate their build and talk them up, and then they get the drive.
Yeah.
And how do you guys find those people? Because you both do it pretty well. I think that's why your shows have the feels they do, because you're seeing stuff that is the first time you're seeing it. It's not the I go to Cars and Coffee every month guy. It's I built this 5 years ago, and it sits. For the
Yeah,
next
how
I
do
really
you do
think
that?
for me,
because
I
you do
think-
it like
yeah.
two different routes. Like
Yeah,
you've got a trillion people on MNCC.
Yeah,
that
but
you
that's
can
not
pull from.
that's not our recipe to success. Though.
But yeah. How do you
For
do
us,
it?
I think it's just communicating with, like, especially when we have time, going to like weekly meets, and it's just not, you just definitely have to communicate with people that like, oh yeah, I'm building this car. It's like, yeah, definitely bring it out.
Sure,
to the
okay.
show.
So it's a grassroots thing.
Yeah,
Like you
definitely
really
a
have to
or
get
like my
into it.
buddy's got this block.
because
like,
you're never
I'll get
gonna,
him to
because
bring it out.
like you said too, is like that guy that's gonna have their car that's like he doesn't know if it's nice enough or like
Right.
you gotta talk to them because
that's-
you're never gonna know about it until they like show you. It's like, oh yeah, this is my build, and they
Well-
have like thousands of pictures of that.
Yeah, with the JNCC meets, that's how I'm starting doing them again. It's like it just I've realized how important they are for getting classic Japanese cars out. Because there's a lot of people that I've met that have amazing car builds.
Yeah, but people are so self-conscious.
yeah.
Self-conscious when they build it themselves,
yeah.
like the fear of judgment on the
Yeah.
build, like when
Yeah.
it's like epic.
Well,
I'm like,
I would have never met Miguel, my roommate,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for that. And then Hep, same thing.
Yep.
Met him through that.
I mean, yeah,
a lot of these
Hep's
people
like a
I've-
quiet dude, but yeah, he's cool stuff.
Yeah, like he's a really really dope dude. And
But
it's
also,
like, a lot of these
people-
don't meet because unless you go out and you gotta approach them. Yeah.
People's view of their own projects, though, I mean, like say they have multiple cars or whatever, like even multiple builds.
Oh yeah,
like
you're
the
super
stuff.
guilty of this. Yeah.
Well, I am, but like the people that, the car that people like the most, at least on the internet for me, is the old Mercedes.
yeah.
Like that's a car like I have no interest in taking to a show most of the time. Just A, because it probably won't make it there and back. But B, like for me, like that's not the first thing I jump to. Whereas that is definitely the thing that people will look at and enjoy the
Oh,
most at a
absolutely,
show.
yeah. That thing's
So like
rad.
how somebody lures me to bring that out to a show is it's just like I like hearing the other side of the equation because I never hear this.
Well, not everybody has an enabler like me that just sits in the car and forces you to
Well,
do so.
my enabler on that car is leaving a pallet with a used trans on it underneath the lift, so I have to put it in the car. Like, this is
Exactly.
transmission number 5. Yes, it's... But things like Brexit, I took it out to one of the Flat Earth meets last year because they let me in. They were kind enough to let me in.
Yeah, and,
And, like, that thing, I mean, it's... You got to get up close to it to, like, realize what's going on. But, like, yeah, I think that was pretty well received.
Yeah,
And that's just something I never would have thought to...
well, and you were
bring
stuck off in a corner, and you were still able to drag a lot of people up to that car.
Oh, the hood opens backwards. So you're, like, shielding
and
people
then
from the
people-
traffic.
But I mean, like, but that's what I'm saying is like it's a lot of these people like even like with a car like Brexit, like you would have brought the M3, which would have been cool and all, but I really pushed you to bring Brexit.
Well, I mean,
And-
it helps I live, like, a mile away from there. So even if it's
Yeah.
super unreliable, like Brexit, I can still take it.
But I mean, like I was still able to push you to do that, and at the end of the day, like it drew a bunch of people, and you were like, that's a car. If that car was you know, nothing against Drive Cartel putting us where they
no,
did. Like,
it's-
we were just the first person. They put us in the spot that's, like, hardest to get
Yeah, I think
out
it was
of.
just
yeah.
one- yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like, I would totally put somebody there, too, from what time
I'm just
we arrived.
chronically early.
Yeah, but like if it was in the main drag, like it would have, you wouldn't be able to get a picture of it because
Right.
off in the distance, like in an unlit corner, like
Carter
behind
got some nice shots of it
behind
there.
a giant Camaro, like it still drew. Like at no point did that car have less than like a half dozen people around it for the entire show.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like with that too, it's like something, I know that the Drive Cartel, we're like it's mainly imports, but it's one of those things where it's like, with your car, like the Brexit car, it's kind of like people don't know, like, oh, dang, you can actually put like an M5 engine into that car. It's kind of like
they don't necessarily know that it's not supposed to
Yeah.
be there, but they could tell that it's not
Yeah.
supposed to be there, and that's
yeah.
intriguing.
So I think that's the thing that's pretty cool that
Yeah.
really attracts the eyes too.
It's nice. I mean, yeah, a build like that is something where, like, yeah, you got to make them think.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't
Yeah.
seem quite. I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
but like, there's no high beams anymore because the intercooler piping is there. So, what happened? That's fascinating. Well, I mean, yeah, okay. It's two just completely different ways ways of going about finding these people in these builds and getting them to the shows. And I think they're both. I'm glad that they're so different between you two guys because I don't feel like there's a lot of like theft of patrons between Drive Cartel and CEC, which is great because I like going to both.
I mean, our community overlap is probably like 95%.
Yeah.
At least,
Well,
right?
I know that,
yeah.
but I mean, you guys, it seems like I never have to choose between going to the events of either of you, and I like
Yeah.
that. And they feel very different to me.
Well, I mean, if people think about it, there's actually a lot more open time slots in the summer for car events than people think there are. Like, the fact that we were able to plan both of ours on the same weekend at the end of June without impacting, like, too many other big shows, like, just goes to show, boom, there's a weekend. Like, there's at least 2 in July I can think of that work well.
Yeah.
But to answer your original question, like, how do we differ our marketing? Like, you're really good with, like, the grassroots method, whereas, like, for me, like, I have to rely on, like, my marketing knowledge and, like, I'm just like, okay.
For you, it's word of mouth and texts. For you, it's emails and websites. I
Yeah.
kind of get that.
Also, even for like the Minneapolis Mile, right? Like we spent like a couple months putting together a really, really good video that we thought would get a lot of reshares, and we're up to like 600 or so shares on the video, right?
Yikes.
And it's a video that like really harmonizes the same things that we all sort of like are drawn to regarding cars. And
Sure.
we try to keep a good like diverse amount of cars in the commercial as well. And I think for the first year at least, it was a decent commercial, and then now we can use this year's footage to make
Sure.
next year's.
Yeah, because I mean, the first like teaser promo video for Minneapolis Mile was mainly light the night footage.
Yeah, half. It was actually a bunch of other events we've done.
Well,
too,
right, but like everything of the actual venue obviously
Yeah.
came from the light the night show last year.
yeah.
Okay. So I got one more question, just other car event here. I want to talk specifically about the Medina Auto Motorplex, their caffeine and gasoline partnership. I don't know what you guys know about this, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts about how that's gonna
Is
go.
this a loaded question or what?
Yeah, just let her rip, Tater Chip.
No, I want to let
No,
Pooh
I
go
don't.
first then, 'cause
I heard about it, but I mean, I've never
Like
been to it.
I don't know. I know it's like, okay, so the word caffeine and octane or whatever it is, that must be something that is well known. I don't know anything about it. But clearly there's this like teaming up with that place to try to gain some relevance, I think, as a venue for car shows. But like, are you guys like enticed to go out there and see this show?
kinda far
Like,
away.
well,
Medina is pretty far. What is that? Like another hour from me?
You see, that's
no,
the thing.
it's about the same distance,
Yeah.
just further up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's actually less distance for him to get there.
it's probably the same amount of time. Like 55's got a lot of stoplights.
True, but
That
I
is
just assumed
true.
he'd swing over on 694.
Is it on the weekends? Or,
Yeah, but you
or
have no
Sat-
ways.
Second Saturday.
Yeah,
Second
I don't
Saturday.
I,
actually
I think it's
know.
called bad marketing because nobody
It is.
knows what the hell it is.
So I guess I'll start leading into this then.
Perfect.
So, the event
Lay it on
Caffeine
me,
and
Balto.
Octane, I'll first say, is a partnership between the Auto Motorplex in Medina and Caffeine and Octane, which is a brand born out of Atlanta, Georgia,
Okay.
which is basically like
Donks.
down there, it's more popular than Cars and Coffee is.
Okay.
So like
Oh, so it's like Georgia Cars and Coffee.
yeah, and their event down there is insane. Like supposedly like, 4,000 people every single month when
Dang.
they host it. And
Dang.
like
Wow.
sick events.
So are they doing that at like Talladega International Speedway?
You know, I bet a quick like Facebook search will
Yeehaw,
actually like reveal where they host it.
Is everybody there like bow-legged and saying howdy to each other?
Is it a
drawing
licensed
finger guns?
thing like Cars and Coffee proper is?
You know, I'm
or-
not entirely sure.
it
I can
must
do a
be.
trademark search if you want. But you know, they have 80-some thousand followers online. Looks like they hosted in like a giant mall setting. Some pretty impressive builds too. But
Did you hear that Mall of America is doing like, some sort of car
yeah,
show
I've
thing?
also talked with the people that are involved in that, and
Oh.
it's a little rookie-ish, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
That seems like splitting up between 4 lots of Mystic Lake and putting it into multiple levels of like a parking ramp potentially, or just doing a top. I don't know how
I
they're
really
gonna do
wonder
that.
how they're going to do
I
it
don't-
because it's really
yeah.
difficult because they supposedly that parking lot in Mall of America isn't it like private property?
Yeah,
To
but
them now,
it's the people who actually own Mall of America putting it on.
Oh,
From what I hear,
I'm
right?
sure they are.
Dan, you probably know because you're like a human Google.
Yeah. So the guy
Google or
running it,
Google?
Google.
Okay.
the guy running it knows or has some working relationship with the management company that not only runs our mall, but the same sister mall up in Canada.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, and so basically he's hosting an event there earlier in the summer and then hosting an event at ours later in the summer. And I'm not entirely sure what he's trying to do and what style of event and whatnot. It looks like it spans multiple days.
So he just heard the
But-
word car. He goes, "I'm gonna do a car show." What kind of car show? I'm gonna do a car show.
I will be doing an car show
Well,
on this date.
If you guys heard
At
of
this
the
time.
Perfect 10 car show that they host up in like North Dakota and Fargo,
Nope.
Nope.
I think the event's probably going to be similar to that, where you have cars parked inside the mall and stuff like that.
So we won't have heard of it and won't have gone to it? Similar in that way?
That's up to you guys.
I haven't
But-
heard of it, so I won't go to it.
I see it all over Facebook. I just don't know what's going on.
But
with
yeah,
it.
this is one of those. I guess my personal interpretation of it is,
Can I go to IKEA and get some meatballs?
yeah, maybe. Actually, yeah, probably.
Sweet.
It's a great idea, but the execution needs some work.
Yeah, it's really looking like here is just the executions. I think another thing we should really talk about here is that Minnesota's really lucky to have more than one group that's executing car shows very well. Because in the Twin Cities, you know, we've got more than you guys are doing car shows. So you definitely affirm, you know, tied up there for like number one. It's like you guys go back and forth like show by show, like best shows that you can make.
I mean, it's all opinion based, but I am in agreement with you.
Yeah, like you guys are
the
really,
record.
really like you guys go, you know, back and forth.
We are not above
yeah.
brown nosing.
Well, yeah, but I'm also not above telling somebody that they suck.
Yeah, that's true.
That's,
Ryan has definitely said that to me multiple times.
yeah. I've said that about a couple of shows. I'm like, dude, the show sucked. Like, what are we doing here? Why did this suck so much? We need to make this not suck. And I hope you value that because I don't mean that as rude. You're a friend of mine and I'm very, very straightforward with
Yeah.
my friends. I'd rather them hear it from me.
Yep.
I'm like,
you know,
listen.
that's another thing with the Minnesota car community too. It's kind of like we all kind of grow from each other too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we need that feedback.
Yeah, you need
If
you
it's
need
gonna
real
suck, let me
feedback.
know if it sucks.
And that's the thing with
Why
Minnesota.
did you
it's
come
like,
back? Like, oh, it sucked. I'm like, why didn't you tell me?
like we hear this thing where it's like we get a passive aggressive like it's all right, and it's like we know what that means. Like if
What's
you're,
wrong? Nothing.
Like if some of you, so for example, a while back when I first started Japanese nostalgia car, Ben asked like how the car show was. Said, "Oh, it's all right." He goes, "Oh, that's good." I'm like, "I'm sorry. Let me translate that." This show fucking blew. He goes, "Why'd you say it was all right?" I'm like, "It's Minnesota."
It's a Minnesotan way
It's
for.
Minnesotan for saying it sucked. He goes, "Why don't you say suck?" I'm like,
That's not how we do it.
Yeah, I'm like, I need something stronger. Like if a plane falls out of the sky onto the car show, at that point, a Minnesota says it sucked. Like, but no, like that's the thing. Is like we're really lucky to have two crews in the Twin Cities that do that. Then you've got 507
Well, there's
down in
even
Mankato.
more than two. But
Well, I mean,
our two favorite.
yeah, like we have two that are like firmly tied up, but then you got 507. You've got the Wheels of Italy crew.
Emin and I.
Yeah, Emin and I. Yeah, they do really good stuff. The Existence of Proving Grounds.
Yeah.
And Power Cruise to a lesser extent
Yeah,
too.
and Power Cruise too.
That event's going to be interesting to watch this year. It's under kind of new management.
which we're also involved in.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys
It'll-
can bail it out from potentially crashing and burning.
For sure.
Okay, good.
It needs manpower.
It
so.
does, because I won't get into the logistics unless you want to cover it, but that sounds like a complete nightmare
So
this
Brainerd
year.
is a 3.2 mile track.
Okay,
that-
so Kula. Does Drop Cartel have anything new going on this year, or are you just kind of improving on what you have already?
We're trying to improve in the, we're trying to get into, like I said, the grassroots too, because we made like a new kind of subgroup with car shows and like track cars.
Okay.
So we want to
Nice.
get them both together.
Yeah.
So it's called Le Track. It's Cartel backwards.
Ah!
Oh,
Le Track.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't see it, but
The
it's,
track.
but it's not here. But I mean,
I like that. Let's tie it.
Yeah, but it's
And I
gonna
mean-
be, you
Very
know,
French of you.
Yeah.
I think
when
means
I
you
was
need to
looking
get
at
a Twingo.
Well, I'm going to get my Avantime. We'll track that thing.
I think
First use
when I first Googled that, I was like, Le Track, what does that mean? Because I just came back from Paris trip, and I was just like, oh, that means the jitters. But I mean, it's totally irrelevant. But I mean, like with Le Track, we're definitely trying to go with like, track cars and show cars, and just kind of bring those two together, because
That's gonna be
this
awesome.
is gonna be
Yeah.
different. Yeah, because I was just the other day there was like a DCTC event. I was just telling them about it. And just to let people know, it's like, it'd be cool to get more cars out there, because they want more people out there racing their, just driving their cars around. And then you have, car shows that are cars that are built specifically for, car shows.
Well, I would love to go to DCTC and like actually take my car on the track. It's just like, I don't know if I'm be able to make it until like a week before.
Yeah.
And it's like it's booked out by like 3 years prior. Like it's just impossible to get there. And I would, like I said, like if I take my van out there, I'd have my van there every weekend.
Yeah.
Every time I'm not doing something, I would be at DCTC. But it's like just one of those things where it's like I don't know when I'm gonna be available, and it's I need to like stop everything in my life to go out for a track day. And it's just it's kind of tough. And like I don't know if something's happened in my van.
Yeah.
Like
Well, that's where you take a different vehicle.
well, but that's the thing.
Or
is,
you
like,
run around the track.
No, but I mean, that's the cool thing about like, at DCTC, it's like the event was hosted by Impulse Performance, and it was just like a driver's training, and
Oh,
you
really?
just had
That'd be
one of the teachers drive with the students or the
That's
car, and
great.
they just drive around, and you can just go around the whole track, and then they're really nice, and they're really cool to talk to. They're really down.
Do you guys run into, it's like, what ratio do you run instructor to person? Or do you just have like
I'm
a
not
pool and
sure.
you send about one set?
Impulse Performance hosts it, but I
Okay.
mean, they have instructors for every driver. I think they have
and
like
you
30
just
that-
you throw your
Wow,
name
that's
on, you
pretty
do
good.
actually a car show element with that.
Yeah, well, we're not trying to. We're just trying to get trying to have people
Get
to
there,
drive
yeah.
for at like track cars
Getting
for like
people to
at
come,
PR,
yeah.
Going to like if you're racing your car at like PG1,
Yeah.
your car's a Le Track car. If you're going, going for car shows, that's another Le Track, because
Yeah.
it's gonna be separate. So.
That's gonna be great. That's
Then
really
you're
cool.
a cartel car.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just building one of our brands too.
That's gonna be really
That's
cool.
different.
I'm really excited to actually see that
Yeah.
become a thing,
Neat.
because
I like
I've
track
wanted to
time.
get like actual track time in. It's just
Yeah.
it's timing is terrible,
Yeah.
and it's like
And
it
it's tough.
Yeah, and it comes back to the grassroots things. It's like, track cars are pretty cool to look at, and it'd be nice to have some other car shows or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. And then another thing is like it's really expensive to make a car super clean. It's a
Yeah.
lot cheaper to make a track car.
Yeah.
So
but
that's
it-
another thing. That's another like kind of like barrier of entry
Yeah.
that you can get rid of
Yeah.
for car shows is by having track cars come there too.
But also, it's going to get you a wider gamut of builds.
That's
at your
true.
events
That's very
with the
true.
track
Yeah,
cars.
it's gonna help a
exactly.
lot. Dan, what do you what does MNCC have? That's like, are you guys just kind of trying to perfect stuff, or do you have new stuff you're trying to do? Are you still doing like the garage days stuff, or?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
All-
like
all of the
our
above.
recurring stuff, we always have our like highway cleanups. We do 2
Did
a
you
year.
did you bring that?
Just
for
use
the
as a
fun.
prop?
Yeah,
as a prop?
it's tomorrow, so like I just wanted to show it off.
Oh, fun.
There you
That's
but
cool.
that's always recurring. We try to do our DIY days as often as possible. This year, we'll be returning to Turbo Tim's here, I think, in like a month or two.
That's exciting.
And we're just trying to hone the recipe on that. The only new, we're at a point where we want to just perfect what we have.
Yeah.
But we do want to grow and change it up a little every year. So like, obviously this fall, us trying to do a rally, something that's
That'd
at
be
a
cool.
scale larger than Crown or Cannonball. That'll obviously have
It'll
its
be like an
growing
actual
pains, and
like
it'll be
speed time
interesting.
distance rally.
So that's the thing. I think we're actually going to take more of a traditional approach and do like poker run or scavenger hunt or something like that.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be really cool.
Something that people can really enjoy the roads, because I think it'll be between like here and then like the North Shore, somewhere up north.
Good, thank you. Ever since the Polar Run took that away as their destination, I've just been like super jaded on most of the.
Yeah, and what we want to do is we want to pick some of the best roads, and we want to have photographers stationed out there, kind of like with the Paul Walker cruise, and get some
That'd be
really
really
good
cool.
shots along the way.
It's a good idea. I will definitely participate.
Yeah, I might be.
Guys should do
in
some
that as
sweet
well.
vinyl kits though.
We
Yeah,
will.
you gotta do that. It's the
Yeah.
vinyl kits that make you want to do it.
Honestly, we're just waiting on talking with 3M right now, because obviously it would save a lot of money if they're willing to, contribute that way. So
Right.
What do because so one thing that really kind of like with car communities, it's the enthusiasm and building up that steam that's really huge. Our steam really builds up in like August, and then you kind of fizzle out and like by November.
Maybe the
you're
boiler
done.
just explodes because
Yeah,
there's so much steam.
Steam. But what could you guys? What do you guys have like ideas about that could make our car community stay going during winter months? Like,
a heated venue.
well, do you remember when they first brought back Hen? They did it at the convention center.
Yep.
Yeah. Then you guys did that little mini thing at the.
Twin City Auto Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what? Actually, personally, I was thinking about this morning. But if we did, if you guys got together and you did like a Drive Cartel versus MNCC like convention center meet, that'd be really dope.
But which crew would I park with? I have to bring multiple cars.
Well, no, I mean,
We gotta get all the other thousands of clubs in Minnesota.
I
too,
know,
so there you
right?
go.
But I mean, like, what could you guys do that could keep the momentum going during winter?
steam?
The steam.
I think one of
Because
the
Chicago has stuff that happens in winter, so it's
they
like,
do. Well, I was thinking like here it's tough because it snows and
it's salt and it's awful.
and everyone's really scared to drive their car. Well, no one's gonna drive their car in the winter.
Well, it depends who. There's a
Well,
lot of
yeah.
Mitsubishi and Super
Winter
guys that
beater,
do it.
what's up?
Yeah, but that's that'd be the majority of them. But like a majority of them, like say like Civics or.
Oh yeah,
or
but you're
drift
not
cars,
gonna
then
get your
it
car
come out, right?
rusted
Yeah.
out and crashed into. Yeah.
And then stolen.
I think,
And then
but-
stolen, and then parted out, and then the parts you buy back are rusted.
Well, look at it this way. As soon as we get like the first good couple snowfalls, what does everyone do? We all go and we try to find like a parking lot to go hoon around in, for
Yeah.
a day. So I think, maybe trying to get a little bit more towards like performance events might be a good route. Like we've been trying to get ice racing a little bit more mainstream in the past couple years. This past year, we just time and weather obviously didn't really work
Yeah,
out in our favor, and who knows what next winter will be like. But
That's true. Yeah, next winter could be terrible.
Well, TCBMW, it's a way smaller scale than either of you guys, but we'd host weekly get-togethers, meetly wit-togethers. But they're not car related. We talk about car stuff, but like you just go in your beater or whatever, and you just go sit inside and have drinks and dinner,
Make
something like
friends.
that. You're in or maintain friendships over the winter.
I mean-
most car friendships are like they're just the kind where you can shut it off of the winter and just kind of come back to it in the spring. But it's nice to.
I once referred to my car friends my summer friends because it's like I don't see them during
I
winter.
got my summer car, I got my summer friends.
I
But
kind
I
of
like the
agree
ice
with
racing
Ryan.
idea. That's pretty cool.
It's kind of like that. It's like I like come winter, I have to find like a completely different hobby. So it's like I really know like D&D, X-wing, and like
Well, I feel like that's when
Or, like,
people
stuff
do
like
start
that,
doing
'cause,
like
do it in
work
my
on their
basement.
cars in their garage.
That's where the off-topic
Yeah.
section of the forums used to be really
Yeah,
popular. So
yeah,
you'd find
exactly.
people with similar off-season interests. Like for me, I build computers.
yeah,
Like I
exactly.
focus on just
a
indoor
lot of people talk
activities.
about Forza and stuff, on our
Forza.
group as well. During
Thank you.
It, so
If you're ever near the people that developed that game, they'll ream you for calling it Forza.
It's
Interesting.
Forza. Yeah,
Is
it's
Forza?
Forza.
Forza.
Forza?
Forza.
There's a T that's not in there
What the
that
heck?
you pronounce. I know, right?
Just saying, it's Forza.
What the heck is this garbage?
So there we go.
I mean,
That's-
answer me this, Kua. Could you guys host like Cars and Craft in January?
I'm not sure. I think one of the thing is just attracting the cars that would come by. But most of the cars that would come by would just be beaters. So it would be like a beater. A while ago, they
Would
were
car-
like
beater meet.
Cars and crap.
Yeah. beaters and crap beaters or whatever.
Well,
Or crap and craft.
That's what I was thinking about, like the indoor event where it's like if you load your cars into the venue the night before, and then you make sure they're clean.
But
and,
where are you
like,
going to find a venue that size that's sustainable and feasible and
That's true.
affordable
That's
for that
very
kind
true.
of thing?
That's
so.
very true. But I mean, like, it's got to be like some sort of like stadium that's not being used,
Yeah.
like for like a school or something.
Well,
And then
I
you
think
gotta
that's
work with the dirt.
well, just people just driving there too and keeping their car
Yeah, that's
clean all the
true,
time.
yeah.
I think and seeing if the venue would actually let people clean their car from
Yeah.
all that salt and
Oh yeah, get all the salt off.
whatever,
Yeah.
especially in like January when it's like frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, we had like those winter ramp meets like the first 2 seasons and they work, but
They were super popular. Everybody's like just over the moon excited because like the thing is like I'm not sure if I'm the only person that does this, but February, if I see a clapped out MPV, I get as excited as I see like a 240Z in July.
I like seeing people's winter setups.
But anyway, I'm sorry, Dan. I need you to continue. I did cut you off, but
no, it's all good. I mean, all I was basically going to finish with was, there's only a few venues you can really get to work in our climate in the winter. Like, one that I thought really worked well that we didn't even host was when Miguel hosted that one underneath the
yeah, I
Hilton
know,
ramp.
right?
It was
it
perfectly
just
warm.
exploded in
yeah.
like size.
The issue is you need enough people who are willing to commit to being there that day to help keep the riffraff down.
Well,
And that's the issue with meets on a whole, especially if you try to go larger than 100 people.
With Miguel's thing, it's supposed to be just like a 20-person meet,
Yeah,
like
that
and
just
go skateboard and
exploded.
stuff.
Yeah.
But the people were so itchy, they just like had to.
Yeah.
Like, and then everybody and their mom showed up. It was like that 2-second meet, but it was awesome because like you're able to actually get out for a meet and like. Like
I'm too cold. Are you cold? Yeah, all right, let's go home.
No, it was underground, and the only reason it got shut down because it's supposed to be 20 people
Yeah.
or something. It was supposed to be like super small. And literally the entire ramp was full.
Yeah, there was like 400 to 600 people.
It was like yeah, and this was in like January.
Oh,
Where was this at again?
It was downtown Minneapolis.
It was the Hilton ramp underneath Second Ave.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like it filled the lot, and like the only reason I shut that, I go, listen, you guys all paid, but like you're gonna die from all the CO2. Like you need to leave.
It was pretty
then
bad.
do it at West End. Although that's not a pay ramp, so you'd have problems. You'd never get approval for that.
Well, apparently the, whatever the rally is that's going on tomorrow, they have permission, apparently. Or
Well,
they know
that's
security.
heartening. I mean, Polar Run, we do our vinyl application parties down there in the winter,
Yeah.
just because it's free and it's warm-ish.
Yeah.
And it's great for that. But yeah, if you get past even 10 or 15 cars there, you're really starting to step on businesses that are functioning out of there. So that's tough.
It's that kind of thing, like weekends, like downtown parking ramp stuff. I mean, that could be feasible. And I think like if Drive Cartel did do it separately, or MNC did that separately, it put a huge strain on you guys. But I think like if some of our crews like got together and like actually did something like that, that'd be really dope.
Well, that's the thing. Like for us, we're supposed to be a United Nations of
Yeah.
car groups locally, and if I could actually get like the leader of every car group to be willing to pitch in their time to host one of those, we'd pay the $1,000 or whatever that it costs to take the ramp for a day or whatever.
Yeah,
but time
Plus-
is valuable. So,
I think the other thing is like with car shows is there is a level of novelty to them.
yeah.
Like Cars and Crafts has its novelty. It's in like this like dope rundown brewery, and it really juxtaposes the super clean cars with the urban decay.
Yep.
And with Minneapolis Mile, you have like the hustle and bustle of downtown being juxtaposed
And
by
this
the
brand new
cars.
infrastructure too.
Yeah, exactly. Being juxtaposed by the cars sitting there. Same thing with the unnamed show that happens that may be at a pizza shop in St. Paul, Minneapolis.
Yeah, we're not
greater
disclosing this show,
area.
but it is one of, if not my favorite show of the year.
and you need to be in to know about that show.
So
Yeah.
if I say it, will you guys like bleep me? Is there
No,
exit in or
there's no bleep, but we will hit you.
I have my hand on your microphone knob, sir.
This also functions as a club,
You just get vaped, bro.
but
No.
no,
I don't.
shows have a certain novelty to them. It's like a winter show, like would have like a ton of novelty. I think that would.
Well, if you could handle something like, legitimately buying out that ramp and have people make sure their engines are off so you don't die of, CO poisoning, that would be cool.
It's,
But, yeah, really, I wasn't even aware of that venue existing.
yeah, and like back in the day, like it's not like it's never been done before because the Week Fest show that started out in a parking ramp in San Francisco. It started out at the Weak Sauce Industries headquarters, which was a 30-car meet, and then Weak Sauce Industries went under, and Weak Fest stayed on because the dude that ran it actually was smart enough to trademark it in his own personal name. But they started out, they were selling out entire parking ramps in San Francisco. And it was done in the off-season California, which I know this sound quaint to us.
It's like in the 40s, maybe.
It was 65 degrees.
Oh, jeez.
Whoa!
Look at all that steam.
Yeah, I know, right? But it was the relative off-season, which 65 degrees in NorCal is like, you just don't, why are you even going outside, you know?
65
But-
in NorCal is not that bad.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, still, it was like the off-season.
65 in SoCal, you see people in parkas.
Yeah. It was the off-season. It was a show that happened in the off-season, and that's exploded because of popularity. And the whole novelty was, like, this is a parking ramp meet in San Francisco in December, and the
Yeah, but
whole
there's no road salt there. You really can't equate it.
No, but the issue is that it would rain, and nobody wants. In California, they're all bitches about the weather. So like, if it rains at all, just go home. Like your life's ruined. You're probably gonna melt because you're made of sugar. Your spray tan's gonna melt off. Like, what are you gonna do? So like, yeah, having a car ramp really did help. So I think it might be viable. So that's just me talking at you. But yeah, Dan, did you have any other things you wanted to remark about, like kind of just the overall state of the car community?
I was gonna say, did we ever sort
the
of finish
car
up
community?
the topic of caffeine and octane?
Caffeine and octane, did we?
We've gone on a lot of
I
tangents.
mean, we
yeah.
kind of
We
did, but
did,
it sounds
yeah.
like none of us really know enough to speculate, so it's fine. I don't personally have high hopes for that. I think they're just making a desperation grab to try to get some relevance as a venue for car shows.
It's possible, but that's why we're getting involved. So what Caffeine and Octane will become is now our monthly. You going all the way down, huh? Goodbye.
So anyway, you guys
So
have any other
have
cool
you
shows you
thought
want to talk
doing-
about?
Yeah, have you thought about doing, as Drive Cartel rather, not you personally, but Drive Cartel, thought about doing a early morning meet?
Specifically on like the third Saturday of a month or whatever that.
No, we're
show?
gonna do it. We're gonna do it with everything with the same time with everyone else too. So no,
Okay,
no,
you're doing it every Saturday,
every
ever.
Saturday. No, no.
We
I
hop
don't
on
think-
CEC's calendar and we just make an event.
See what that day, that hour.
With that Columbia, fuck you, Dan.
Well played.
No, I mean, no, I don't think we have. No, I don't think we'll ever plan that much because I think it's just
Well, yours are all beer related, so I
good.
guess your
Yeah.
early morning would be
early
like,
morning is gonna be too tough for most people, anyways. Especially if it's on like a weekend, So weekend morning. But you never know. Like it works for cars and coffee.
It'd be like
but,
Octane Anonymous, like early morning meeting. Like,
Well, then,
We're all drinking coffee, but it's got a bunch of Baileys in it.
then I think we already have Cars and Craft put down pretty well. for-
yeah. Oh my
for
god,
the-
that show
for the
it
evening,
really
so-
is an amazing show.
So I don't know if we want to do
Great
like
day,
another.
great time. Yeah.
Like with that show, in Minneapolis Mile, I show pictures of that to the guys that I work with in California and stuff, and they are actually like that's a really better meat than we have because like California, like everybody's like California's great, it's all this and it's all that. It's like no, it's just a lot. It's sheer numbers. It's not quality because if you go to most meats in California, they're in a parking lot of a Walmart and they're gross. And it's like the only reason it's better is you see there's an In-N-Out burger on the other side.
Oh, that's fair.
I'm kind of on board with that. I like In-N-Out.
Yeah, In-N-Out is pretty good. I think we should get some In-N-Out. But yeah, did you have anything you wanted to add on, Kua? Or
Oh no, we just nothing much. We just got Modest. That's coming.
Modest,
That's
yeah.
about it.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hey guys, thanks a ton for coming out. Did you have any other topics or?
Well, unless
that-
we're doing the what did we learn this week?
Yes. Oh shit. Yeah, we have to do. All right. So we've actually added a couple of guest questions too. I think since they were both last on.
We have.
Okay. So
potentially.
we have because we keep ending these episodes on depressing topics.
Excellent.
I did. What did you learn this week that you're proud of to try and make you feel better? So Jana actually had one. while Burger is looking up the guest questions.
Well, there's just one more that they really haven't done.
Oh, what is
'Cause
it?
The rest of it's like car event stuff, which we talked about. It's
Okay.
the Carbitrage California Affordability Challenge. So
Yes,
$1,500
yes.
to $3,000 car that you would buy over the course of a 2-week vacation in California instead of renting a car, then driving it back to Minnesota and selling it for a profit or not losing money.
What would you buy?
What would you buy?
given that? So this came about. Well, I'm just gonna do some filler so you guys have time to think. This came about because we both went to Monterey Car Week and we noticed that renting cars is like insane.
It was quite expensive.
Yeah, and we're like, you could feasibly buy a car and bring it back, and it costs about $1,500 to $3,000 depending on what you want to get. I'm more like the $1,500, like I'll take a Corolla, whatever. Burger's like I want to have a fun car. I'll take an automatic Mustang, which I don't understand how that's more fun than
I got or
Corolla.
similar into a Wrangler, thank you.
Okay, so there's that.
Convertible though.
But anyway, so that's why I'm like, I would rather just buy something. So it's like $1,500 to $3,000, something you'd buy in California, drive around for a week, drive back to Minnesota and sell for a profit that you would actually have fun with. That's better than renting, like,
Dude,
a
I know.
Versa.
I think a good one. My uncle had this. It was the older Toyotas, the T100s.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Super clean.
The pre-Tundra.
That would be dope.
It was super clean and
You
it
can-
runs really good too.
You
It
can
was a
totally
5-speed.
get those for like
yeah,
yeah,
3.4 with the
cheap.
5-speed.
Dude, yeah, and
Yeah.
it was running forever. And
Those don't have the Tacoma following, so you could definitely pick them up on the
yeah,
cheap.
yeah. So you could pick them up for cheap, drive them around everywhere, if you want to. Drive them back here and sell it for more if you wanted to. But I just keep it here for the winter.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good decision because that car, it was a 1 year, it was a one generation only.
Yeah.
Because then they called it the Tundra afterwards.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so yeah, the T100 would be a really great car, and
No, actually, I'm trying to think of. I don't know if it's the T100, but it's one of the trucks that came with the 20R. I don't know if you know.
Oh, that was older then.
That's old.
the 20R, not the Tacomas, but the Hiluxes and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, I'm trying to
the
remember.
the Toyota pickups from like the 80s.
Yeah, from the 80s.
Yeah, the name the rest of the world is the Hilux. That's what most
Yeah.
people call it, is the Hilux.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a really good one because you can get some of the weird ones for like nothing.
Yeah.
I think what I said, a shovel nose Corona.
We
I
probably
think.
should have written ours down.
Yeah, I've got enough options. I can just come up with.
Well, I mean, we
random
could keep
nonsense.
changing ours.
Is
Yeah.
yours
I mean,
I marked
Oh, I
RS.
remember mine.
What was yours?
E46 330i 5-speed.
That is true. Yep. Yeah, and I think I went with I either went with a Corona or I went with a diesel Mercedes.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, does it count with rarity too? But I mean, like, I
No,
was
just
thinking-
something that is like you probably rusty stuff or uncommon stuff. Like
I
for
was
the
thinking about, like,
E46,
yeah.
they're all rusty up
Yeah.
here. People want clean shells for spec
Yeah.
E46 builds.
I was gonna say like even like the rare '89 Mitsubishi Mirage GTs, because
That would
those
be
came with the 4G
Super rare. Yeah.
super rare already, and it's
If you
can't
can find
find
one.
one,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
kinda cool. I
you
didn't
can
know
probably
about
find
that.
that in
you
California.
can find
still, yeah.
no. There's a couple in Cali that would just go for like $2,000-$2,500 and it's gone like immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
those would be my two.
Dan,
Well, that's
what-
definitely on
what-
the top end of
what
our
would-
budget, but
yeah,
yeah, it works.
that's a really unique one. It'd be a Mirage GT. What would you say, Dan?
I literally spent the past couple minutes on Los Angeles Craigslist.
Yeah, but now that car posting costs $5, all the crappy stuff's gone from Craigslist.
So it seems, but based on the list of like 5 cars I could think of that I wanted, the only ones that would come in around like $3,000, Mini Cooper S manual.
A first gen? Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's fair. That's actually a pretty decent car.
And I assume decent fuel economy if you're driving all the way back.
That's
too,
something to
so.
factor in, certainly.
So, is like a Mini Cooper S.
R53 Cooper S.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of fun.
Yeah.
That was on Donuts, like just barely missed Donuts list of. No, it was on Donuts list of like best cars under 10 grand
Yeah.
for a car enthusiast.
And not gonna lie, like that car's been like a guilty pleasure for me for a really long time,
It's
and I
just
hope one day
Like
I buy
supercharger
one.
wine, so that's cool. But they're not. That's one of those things where it's like it's a pretty solid car. I can't believe they're as cheap as they are. I guess I can. 'Cause
Some
they're
have
pretty
issues,
old.
and they're BMWs.
Kind of, but the motor isn't. But that's not a car that's worth more here than it is in California.
Probably not.
So
I
you
assume
might
it
not
was
be able to
about
make
the
a
same
profit.
amount.
Yeah, I mean, you probably
You
won't
could
lose
probably.
money on
I
it.
think there's I think you probably would break even or go up on that because there are more of those cars in SoCal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I think just
But
the
they-
sheer quantity just
They
dilutes the
don't
market.
rust though.
Yeah, but they're not taken care of here.
I know, but the car you're going to buy in California might not be taken care of either. Although they do have inspections, which helps
Yeah,
a ton.
I think you could probably find a better Mini Cooper in
Yeah,
California.
I'm sure you wouldn't lose money.
And especially
that fits.
if you were to go from that but go up to convertible.
You cannot get one of those for $3,000.
Actually, as I say, convertible.
And I
probably,
think the
a
Vert
convertible
S
would be,
started
it
with
would
the
be-
turbo motors and those things. You won't find a running one for any price because the vacuum
just
pump is
don't.
seized and sheared the cam off, and the turbo Coopers are so bad.
I can say I would definitely buy one of those just to keep it too, though.
Yeah, a supercharged R53, especially if you get like an early S Works before they brought the Works package in house, pretty cool.
I would. I was actually talking to my editor last night about the shovel nose Coronas, like the late '60s Toyota Coronas, and he's like, I would buy one if I had found one in California. And the only reason I would say that car in California is because they just don't exist elsewhere. Like they almost all sold in California, and they have like just the most. One in perfect condition with like 20,000 miles will sell for $5,000 one day, and then the next day will sell for $30,000. That like the exact same car. It's just it's all over the place, and the market has no idea what to do with them because it's like a proto Corolla, and it's got like a better racing pedigree than like the Dodge Challenger. Like the car is like really awesome, but yeah, that's what I would say. But anyway, so fun facts that we learned. Jana's fun fact, because she specifically wanted me to note this, bones and other things collect in the oxbows of rivers.
I guess that makes sense.
Okay.
And you're probably wondering, what? Like I was, when I said this, I said, oh, what the fuck is an oxbow?
Oxbow is where it does the loop and it goes against the flow of gravity or whatever. Or the
So
path of
Jana's
gravity.
response, quote unquote, because I don't want to get it wrong.
Fine.
Oh boy. So the older the river, the more dramatic it meanders. Eventually, it starts to pinch off and creates a low flow with lots of deposits. I need a whiteboard to describe it. But basically, an oxbow is where the deposits build up in a low-flowing part of the river.
Interesting.
The more you know.
I'm going to pull up a photo of an oxbow for the people watching because I'm an art history person, so I know what these are.
That's what
but
an oxbow is.
that's where the river doesn't go in a straight line. It actually curves and goes against gravity, essentially, for a short period of time. So there you go.
It's like
That's what-
downtown St. Paul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what an
I
oxbow
live
is.
right by one of those.
So there you go. Now you
I,
know. I am...
Well, okay, so that was Janice. What's yours?
Oh, Kua.
Man, I'm gonna pass this on to Daniel.
I learned that Toyota's still making manual cars.
There you go.
Corolla.
Yep, the Corolla. Yeah,
that
the
was
Corolla.
our Carbitrage car of the year, 2018.
We were gonna have a whole thing, but then
And the Genesis G76 speed. They both kind of won. So
we never ended up getting around to the award ceremony because our name change came out of like
there
left
was
field.
that, and like it was timing with Victor and Reseda. We didn't want to step on them. So I learned that it is pretty much impossible to adequately drive a pair of Sennheiser HD 650s with an iPhone.
Yeah, that's probably correct.
Need a headphone amp.
I learned I actually really like baseball. I mean, I'm not gonna start like
All right,
watching it
Kua.
or
So
anything,
have you
but
thought
I
anything
actually like
fun, Kua? Please, please.
No, if anything, I don't even know if it's fun, but when I went to the
Interesting.
dealership, I did not know that new Siennas costed $50,000.
Oh,
so there you go.
Yeah.
That was something new and fun to learn about.
I learned that Minnesota car culture is super steamy in the fall. There you go. All right.
Steamy.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much
Yeah,
again for coming
absolutely.
down at the same time and dealing with our schedule.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
appreciate it.
It was
Yeah,
good to
it's
be
always
on
good.
the
Love having both of
100th
you guys
episode.
out. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, the pleasure is all ours, really.
Yeah,
So.
it was a special episode. I wanted to do something special. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, you guys are. I want to sum up most of the Minnesota car community the best I could. I wanted to get the two biggest crews and put them together with the best shows and talk about.
And then rub
How
them together
much-
like balloons and make a bunch of static
I mean,
electricity.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't see the president of MSRA here. I think you kind of missed out.
Yeah, I did, but I only have 2 microphones, and I know you guys personally, so I don't want to have somebody come on for their first time and get lumped in with some other rando that they don't know.
Oh, we should have
Yeah,
bought
we'll
them one of
get
those,
we'll get
like,
MSRA and Gopher State someday.
Should have bought them one of those 1950s microphones, like the full like chrome metal like finish.
These actually look pretty cool underneath the pop filters, but
Yeah,
I leave
they're
the
kind of
pop
like
filters
that,
on.
but yeah, you have the pop filter. Yeah.
Not quite as cool.
Hey, we made an entire episode without hitting the pre-war bell.
I am so excited.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And on that really epically high note,
By the way, cool.
It's
You should
time
put
to
some
end.
pre-war cars into.
thank you all for
Your shows.
listening. We will see you next week.
Duesenberg.